Crank the distortion and turn up the volume because the American Dirt Series returns to RaceSpotTV for the second time this week. The 360 Sprint Cars put on a fantastic show on Monday night, and Alex Bergeron took the opening round. This time, it is time for the for the super late models here in the American Dirt Series, brought to you by CMF Motors Electric on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. Don't go away.
Introducing a whole new form of racing to the best online racing simulation in the world. This is Dirt Racing on iRacing.com. Race online at some of America's most legendary dirt tracks, including Eldora and Williams Grove. iRacing is the premier online racing game featuring NASCAR, IndyCar, sports cars, and now World of Outlaws, the leading sanctioning body for dirt racing. iRacing is easy to use and features a centralized ranking system to make sure you have the best experience at any skill level. With a massive inventory of high-precision laser scan tracks and cars with an unmatched dedication to quality and detail, iRacing gives you the most authentic online racing experience available. Thanks to iRacing's dynamic track system, developed specifically for dirt racing, tracks change over the course of a race, just like your favorite dirt track on a Friday or Saturday night. From a slick racing groove all the way up to the cushion, iRacing's dirt tracks deliver non-stop racing action. Partnered with the World of Outlaws, iRacing is your source for the most authentic dirt racing experience available, featuring 4 brand new tracks and 11 new cars, including street stocks, Legends cars, late models, NASCAR trucks, winged and non-winged sprint cars, with much more on the way. Join the Dirt Revolution on iRacing.com and start slinging mud today.
Welcome back here to RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live, as coverage comes at you from the CMF Motor Electric American Dirt Series Super Late Model Championship, live from the USA International Speedway. Randy Chinnett, Gary Weaver, and Hugo Louis bringing you all the action as Race Control is getting everything sorted, getting the pill draw ready for qualifying. And Gary, it was an exciting race we saw just earlier this week on Monday night in the 360 Sprint Cars that saw Alex Bergeron take that opening, the race win of the season opener, And I think we're going to be in for a very good one because the late models on Friday Dirt Night have been fantastic.
It's going to be interesting to see how the 360s handle, the super late models have their turn at this track. Alex Bergeron, of course, in this race as well, and maybe he can become the two-time winner of USA in 2 different cars.
He'd be very, very happy about that for sure. So for those who are curious, the unique format in the American Dirt Series, right now they're just finishing up getting the pill draw sorted, and that sorts the drivers into qualifying groups, and that the drivers will go out there in a group of cars and actually qualify that way. Still the same thing you're going to be used to, a couple laps to get your qualifying times down in and sorted, but they will qualify over time. Going to be much, much more similar to what you see at a real racetrack for a real racing event on any weekend night here in the United States of America. Current drivers that we see formed up are Lindsey Hobbs, Richard Sterlings, and Scott Bellum. They're the 3 cars we see waiting right now on pit road to get the go-ahead from Race Control. Well, it's going to be an interesting one here. The schedule is an interesting one here in the American Dirt Series. Both the late models and the sprint cars follow pretty much the same thing. We have USA Speedway here to kick things off. Eldora next week. The week after that, Knoxville Speedway, the capital of sprint car racing for sure. Then followed by Lanier, Volusia, Williams Grove, Knoxville, and Lanier. But last Lanier is a little bit of an asterisk right now, Gary, because they're expecting Lima Land to come out, and they're hoping to add that to the schedule at the tail end of the season.
Yeah, Steve Myers did post that on Twitter confirming that Lima Land is going to be coming in March. So I'm expecting that to be about the first or second week of March where that's going to be released. And trust me, that's going to be really great for the dirt guys.
As the cars begin pacing themselves out onto the racetrack, Lindsey Hobbs is going to be lucky number one here in qualifying tonight, and this is good because we saw the quickest times in qualifying in your 360 Sprint Car Series on Monday come in the first couple sessions. People were still able to be quick, but as this racetrack started to slicken up, the time started to drop away, and you got Kyle Beck, who should be bringing up the tail of this first group of qualifiers as they're still pacing around right now, getting everyone sorted, everyone spaced out is the word I'm looking for. Kyle, I think, was incorrectly in his car, so he got taken out. So it's going to be 4 car groups for the qualifying as Lindsey, Scott, and Richard are going to lead them off here in just a moment with Travis Marsh in that race car as well. And Lindsey should be getting the go-ahead some point around the run into corners number 3 and 4.
It's going to be interesting to see how these super late models act, and I believe they have been given the go-ahead as they accelerate, and Lindsey all right into the outside wall, and well, that's not exactly a good way to start, but on the bright side, at least it wasn't on their opening lap.
Yeah, that was not a hot lap for Lindsey. Is going to come down this front straightaway. Not a great exit for her as they work themselves into 1 and 2 now. Does the first driver here, of course, Richard Stallings, not far behind that number 7 machine as they work down this back straightaway. And we're getting an idea of what the lap times are in the super late model series in a moment. As Scott Bellum and Travis Marsh are going around. Travis, I believe, has already put in a lap. That's a 22.582. I'm not sure if that was a hot one or not. Lindsey will be the one that we gauge metric. 21.9 for her. And Richard Stallings behind goes to a 21.6. So it seems to be the mid-21s is about the pace right now. Scott Bellum is going to come through, go to a 22.8.
Already you can see, like you said, what laps to expect, and goodness, I've seen super late models, and these things are really sideways. I'm surprised they can hang on to this, but definitely takes a lot of skill. I tried it, and it didn't work out for me, but you can see, I believe they'll be wrapping up their qualifying in just a few moments, and so far no one can really top Richard's lap time.
6.49 for Richard right now. Marsh not far behind at a 26.90, and now he is no longer behind as he goes to a 21.550. Lindsey Haas not far off at a 21.9, showing much better pace already through this first group than what we saw from her earlier in the week. On Monday, she goes to a 21.8. Scott Bellum, and the only driver who seems to be struggling a little bit in this first session, down to a 22.8. as he's going to cycle through and actually improve to a 22.6, and that's going to be the end of qualifying group number 1. We have group 2 already sorted out there on the racetrack as Travis went even quicker to 21.494.
Insanely fast lap time, and goodness, well, it's good that he improved on his own lap time. That shows how powerful his car is, and hopefully he can keep that dominance within that race as well. As I believe, yes, they are. They're going to stop and bring out the next group.
Apparently I'm incorrect, and Lindsey is apparently not of the sex that I assumed, so sorry about that, Lindsey, but everyone else is going to be getting themselves back out on the racetrack in just a moment. Qualifying group number 2 is going to consist of Kyle Beck. Travis already ran. We have Kyle Falk and DJ Kilanowski currently in the cars, as well as Lewis Hewitt. Lewis is very, very competitive earlier in the week on Monday in the sprint cars. Of course, he's definitely one of the aces in those waned cars of the 360 and 410 variety. Then Chris Martin, I believe, will be the final car in this second group. I think Lewis is probably going to be the one to really watch.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting that he's actually waiting a little bit farther back, but yeah, if he's going to be dominant in the 360s, he's also going to be dominant here, hopefully for him at least. And 4 lining up right now, I believe. Yep. So the 22, the 52, the 15, and the 666. So interesting car number from Lewis.
Yeah, 666. He's running that in his sprint car as well, and well, he was very, very quick. He's just getting to go ahead from race control here in just a moment, and then we will be going green here in the second group. I think there's a little bit of confusion right now about something or other about what is going on, but still just waiting for the second group get released here. But still very, very quick times coming from those top 4. Travis, Richard, and Lindsey all putting in quick times in those 21s. Scott Bellum doesn't seem to be liking something on his race car into that 22.6, but unfortunately for him, fixed setup championship, so he's not going to be able to make any adjustments. Kyle Beck is going to roll out, and he's going to lead group number 2 in towards the first couple corners.
This is going to be even more interesting when we have even more than 4 drivers on this same surface, and all right next to each other as well, and that's something to definitely be interested and look forward to later in the night.
So Kyle Falk on the racetrack. DJ's out there as well, and Lewis Hewitt is going to be the last driver, it seems, to get the go-ahead. So 4 driver groups confirmed. Then we should be going green here in just a moment. Last time they gave the lead car the go-ahead about midway down the back straightaway. Right now that car is getting ready to cross the timing beam on the front straightaway, so it should be here in about 20 or 30 seconds, considering we're rolling at pace car speeds, that we should be getting that green flag waved here for quali group number 2. And the question is going to be, I think you really have to watch Lewis Hewitt. He is one of the most talented dirt guys on the iRacing service right now, and that for most people carries over between most of the vehicles. I think he's going to be our first really solid gauge of the pace as green flag flies, and Kyle Beck, struggling with that race car down the back straightaway, finally gets it somewhat sorted, and we are green in quali group number 2 as he comes off corner number 4.
That's something I'm actually interested in. When they accelerate on the back straightaway, the back end tends to step out just a little bit. So maybe something that's not going to be really ideal for those starting on the outside on the front straightaway coming to race time.
So Kyle's going to work down the back straight and in towards 3 and 4. Kyle Falk is someone who's running in the second spot who might be a little bit peeved at the moment because he's reeling in that car in front of him as they work on that front straightaway. Kyle Beck's going to come through and go to a 22.641, so not a blistering time from him as Kyle Falk goes to a 21.6. as well as DJ Kalinowski and Lewis Hewitt. Let's see what Lewis does as he comes across the stripe. With a 22.2 for him on his first lap, he goes to a 21.8. So Lewis about 3 or 4 tenths off as he works down the backstretch.
DJ Kowalski, Kalinowski, I apologize. It's going to take a while for me to pronounce that correctly. He's right now currently in 4th. So lucky for him, he's not too far back as well, but just right there in the middle of this. So far, 8-car field, and Kyle Beck completely sideways through that corner, but Kyle Falk as well reeling in right now as they cross the start-finish line. No improvements as of yet.
Everyone's still trying to improve here. Kyle Falk, who's currently 4th quickest of all the cars we've seen run, he's going to work himself down this back straight in towards 3 and 4. He did a 21.683 last time through, only a few hundredths off of Richard Stallings in that 17 car, and then 4 tenths or 2 tenths off the current pole sitter of Travis Marsh. He comes across the start-finish line, and that's not going to be an improvement for him. DJ Kalinowski, he's going to come through currently 2nd on the timing sheets at a 21.6, and that's going to be the end of this second session. Lewis Hewitt comes through to a 6.92, and I don't think Lewis is going to be overly happy about that.
Yeah, not too good of a lap time. At 21, yeah, like you said, 21.692 was his last lap time, crossing that start-finish line to end that run, and hopefully he can improve during the race.
Yeah, hopefully he can improve as well, as that's going to be the end of qualifying group number 2. So we're going to get those times put into the spreadsheet, and then we will have the third group out here in just a couple moments. It's a slightly smaller field than what we saw in the 360 sprint car, so we're going to be able to fly through this qualifying a little bit more quickly, as I believe we're going to have Greg Thompson, Ray Chapman, Hunter Poston, and David Jones should be this third qualifying group. And right now that pretty much is lining up with the drivers I'm seeing climbing into their cars. It's going to be that green, black, and blue number 313 that should be leading them out.
Greg Thompson waiting for the go-ahead, and here comes Raymond Chapman all the way from the back of pit road, but on the bright side, at least he has time to get up there, and I believe just after this they will be sending Greg Thompson out along with the other drivers.
So just waiting on that go-ahead, making sure they get everyone in order, and then Greg Thompson will be getting released for his pace lap and a half or so around this USA International Speedway. Raymond gets back out of the car, back to the end of pit road, so not sure what's happening there. But regardless, Greg Thompson is going to get released, and he's going to begin rolling out onto this racing surface as you have Hunter as well as, nope, Raymond's back in there. Not sure what I saw, but Hunter Poston should be getting released here in just a moment.
Yep, he's going to head out to pit road at about 45 miles per hour, just only 5 miles an hour faster than pace speed. David Jones going to make his way out of pit road right now, and all that's left is Raymond Chapman, and then we will be going once again. And there he goes.
So there goes Raymond. They just now need to wait for Mr. Greg Thompson to head down that back straightaway, so it's going to be about 30 more seconds. We're going to see if anyone has anything for that 2 machine of Travis Marsh, currently out there on the racetrack, currently quickest with a 21.494, but only quickest by about a tenth over DJ Kalinowski, who did that 5.97. Just waiting now, pretty much any moment should be getting that green flag as Greg leads the way through corners number 1 and 2 on that top side, and race control. Expect them to let them loose pretty much right about now, and that right foot is going to get buried as you still see that 313 really struggle with that car when he has to get on it down that back straightaway. Car wants to lurch towards the outside wall. Does a good job of holding onto it as Greg's going to work themselves on towards the front straightaway, across the timing beam, and he will start his first lap in qualifying.
It's definitely going to be something to look ahead to, but nonetheless, Greg Thompson running a great lap time so far by the looks of it. Hunter Poston right behind him, about half a corner behind him, and it's going to be interesting to see what Greg Thompson puts down for his lap time. He's going to cross the start-finish line now with a 21.417. Top of the charts goes Greg Thompson, and amazing job by him. Hunter Poston going to be 9th. David Jones crossing his start-finish line 7th, and Raymond Chapman rounding out. He's going to come across and get a 21.72. So right now, Greg Thompson is now at the top of the charts.
The current pole sitter, Greg Thompson, can he improve on his second lap? No, he will not. He goes to a 6.38 on lap number 2, but he still holds that pole position by 0.08 of a second. Down the back straightaway for him on his third lap. We'll be able to see if he's able to improve himself through 3 and 4 now. All the way to the bottom of the racetrack goes that 313 machine. Going to pick up the throttle and work himself down this front straightaway. Can he get under the 4s? He'd be the first driver to be able to do it, and no, doesn't even get under the 5s. That's going to be a 5.24, his third circuit around the racetrack. Everyone else on the racetrack pretty much in the 8s and 9s. Current quickest, second quickest is Ray Chapman, who did a 21.723 in that number 90 machine. Let's see what he can do. He's going to slightly improve. Actually, no, he won't. Take that back. I need to learn how to read. As Greg is going to come through for his final hot lap. And let's see, is that going to be improvement? No, he's going to stay down in the 5s, and that's going to be the end of this session. Everyone else is going to cycle through on their final lap. Still everyone in about the 7s and 8s. Pretty much, and that's going to be, I think, the end of it. Ray Chapman, the last one watching, he's way out of the throttle down this front straightaway. No way that's going to be an improvement, but new pole sitter after qualifying group number 3 here of Greg Thompson. And the thing we need to keep an eye on here, Gary, is the fact that as we log laps, as qualifying groups go out, we're going to put more and more and more of the cars for, we're going to see this track slicking up as more and more cars run on this racing surface.
Yeah, that's going to be a key factor because Greg Thompson, I believe, he's found the correct line from these last 2 or 3 runs that we've had. And, well, he's at the top of the charts now at 21.4, but he only beat Travis's time by about 7/100ths of a second. So really interesting to see how the track slickens up and how that's going to affect everyone going to their next run, especially this next group coming up in just a few moments.
So as we get those things entered in, we should be having that fourth group come out on the racetrack. That's going to be Brandon Peterson, Terry Rennert, David Gallion, and Todd LeBeau, who I will try my hardest to not comedically mispronounce his name tonight. But still very, very quick for the lap times right here. And one of the things we saw in the 360 sprints on Monday, Gary, is the fact that this track will get very, very slick over time. A lot slicker than what most people are used to in the standard official series. And that's one of these things these super late model guys are going to have to deal with as well. The track, not just for qualifying, but over this race, when you have all these qualifying groups, followed by multiple heats, followed by a trophy dash to sort the starting grid for the A main amongst the top guys, then followed by a C main, a B main. Once you get to that A main feature, it's going to be a very, very slick racetrack compared to the 10-minute or so long sessions you get in the official series.
Yeah, that's something. Maybe that's actually the reason why these cars have been stepping on the back straightaway. As Brandon Peterson gets the go-ahead from race control, Terry Rennert, David Gallion, and Ted LeBeau will be making their way out as the number 02 if Terry gets to that go-ahead. And I'm going to take a look at Brandon. He's probably going to get that step out as well because that back straight maybe just a little bit slicker than it normally is.
So Brandon leads them out onto the racetrack towards corners number 3 and 4, and likes of Terry Renner and everyone else still out there just cruising about at the moment as Todd LeBeau is going to get released as well. So in just about a minute here, we'll be going green, and it's going to be interesting to see if anyone can catch Greg Thompson with that 21.417. Only 2 drivers under the 5s. I think this racetrack has a 3 in it. I'm just curious if anyone's going to be able to find it.
Greg Thompson was close as Brendan Peterson makes his way through the corners of number 1 and 2. This is going to be interesting to see how this turns out. Going to keep an eye on the A3. And we should be getting the go-ahead right about now. And they do green us out. And, well, again, that A3 also steps out. And it's going to be interesting as he's going to go practically straight to the inside, about 1.5 feet between him and that inside wall. He's going to start his lap right now.
So he's a little bit off that inside wall, and he's going to start his first time lap in towards corners number 1 and 2, slides up to the middle of the racetrack a little bit, and I think he's a little bit higher than he'd like to be is Brandon Peterson. Terry Renner keeps that car a little bit more nicely pinned to the bottom of that 0-2. I think Terry, the nerd, is going to be the person we really want to watch as they run themselves through number 3 and 4. Now he's going to work himself down this front straightaway. Brandon Peterson, he's going to go to a 21.7, so a good lap for him on his opening time to the circuit around this racetrack. 21.6 for Terry. David Gallion, let's see what he's going to do at the end of his first 3/4 of a mile sprint around this racetrack. 22.6, and it's a 21.7 for Todd. Excuse me, it's a 21.5 Todd did on his first lap. His second lap comes in at a 7.66. That 94 seems pretty hooked up and pretty confident as everyone's coming around for the second circuit. 21.5 for Peterson, and Renner's going to go to a 21.7. So a couple drivers improve on their second trip around the racetrack. Terry Renner, however, does not.
David Gallion, however, has improved, but it's only 22.0, not as much as he'd like to, unfortunately. He's going to have to find some type of a line to get that correct run through the corners, as I believe they're still making their way around. No one really finding anything as of yet. 21.8 as opposed to Terry's 21.7 just a couple laps ago. David Gallion going to come across the line again, 21.9. So slowly improving over time, but Todd LeBeau is going to be a 21.8 as opposed to 21.7 last time around, I believe. This could be the final lap. 21.9 last time for Brandon Peterson. He's going to get 21.8 this time by hanging the turns 1 and 2.
Not going to be an improvement, though, for him. It's the quickest lap with a 21.563. So everyone's seeming to find the pace across all of our qualifying groups in the early laps here in the late models. Then Brandon Peterson is going to get slowed down as he works himself down that back straightaway. As everyone, I believe, has completed their times, and pretty much 21.5s are going to be the name of the game in this one. Interesting, DJ Kilinowski and Todd LeBeau, identical times, both in 21.597. So for both of those drivers, have to go to the 10 thousandths of a second margin to measure those two, and well, DJ is gonna win out in this one. So Todd, you got to get good. You were a little bit too slow on the atomic scale around that racetrack.
So just a few moments again as everyone's going to get the go ahead and get out onto pit road, lining up for the next group, of course, in a few moments. And so far, Greg Thompson, and we have Greg Thompson, Travis Marsh, and Brandon Peterson. Brandon Peterson was the only one that could break into that top 3, only about a tenth and a half off of Travis this time. But like you said, at 21.3, if Greg Thompson was close, he had 21.418. So it's going to be interesting to see if anyone can break that time, or let alone beat Greg Thompson's time.
That's going to be the big thing. Still, the only one to get near the 3s is Greg Thompson with that 4.17, and Travis Marsh, the only other driver in the 4s, and he was a very, very high in the 4s that had 4.94. So just waiting for the second group to get going, and we're getting the drivers on the racetrack right now. It's going to be Trenton Vogt, James Ray, Brad Dyer, and Steven Taylor will be the 4 drivers hitting this racetrack here in just a moment. Still a couple interesting names to be on the eye, looking out for as we get down further and further this list. Alex Bergeron, race winner in the 360 sprint cars on Monday night. He's going to be hopping into these race cars at one point in the very, very near future. He, I think, is going to put on a splendid show because he is adopted to these super late models quite aggressively and quite quickly, as we've seen on Friday Night Dirt Nights. Typically someone we only saw in the sprint cars, saw him run a couple rounds in the late models, and he got very, very good in pretty much a week's time, as we're going to see Trenton Vogt roll out onto the racetrack in that number 19 car, and he's going to be the first one, of course, in this group, followed by James, Dyer, and Taylor.
And of course, James Ray given the go-ahead. Brad Dyer and Steven Taylor have yet to make their way back on track. We're going to, again, take a look at the 19. We're going to see if he steps out on the back straightaway when they're giving the go-ahead. It's going to be interesting to see if they do step out, because that's going to confirm that the track is just a bit more slick, or maybe there's something with the setups that's just not really agreeing with the drivers tonight. But then again, the drivers have managed to keep it off of the outside wall, luckily, without completely clobbering the entire right side. So about 20 to 30 seconds left until given the green.
So Trenton's going to roll through 1 and 2 as we have everyone out there rolling on the racetrack now, and that 19 car, as we've seen, is going to get that green flag midway down the back straightaway. As expected, we are expecting a wiggle, a little bit of stagger in these cars as always, and the late models, of course, very, very soft in the way they're sprung, so expect to see some movement. Actually, no, that 19 car, smoothest on the throttle application, looked like he was on asphalt, like he was stickied up pretty much almost on a drag strip, but not very settled through corners number 3 and 4. Big hiccup for him, and that's going to really hurt his run down this front straightaway in toward the first couple corners. Give that outside wall a little bit of a smack, but as he runs through 1 and 2 for the first time, a little bit high up on the racetrack, I feel. Let's see what James Ray is doing. He's got that car pinned a little bit further down to the bottom. Brad Dyer and Steven Taylor, they're doing something similar as well, but Steven all the way up against that inside grass. So I think what you typically want to be doing here at USA. Trenton Vogt, he's going to come through for his first lap. 22.4 behind for James Ray. That's going to be a 22.1. So let's see what Brad and Steven have up their sleeves as they're going to come across the stripes. 21.8 and then followed by a 21.8 as well. So all these drivers in the high 21s to low 22s, their first trip around the racetrack.
Trenton Vogt got really sideways heading to turns 3 and 4. That's going to hurt his lap time. 22.4 last time around, out of 22.7. That's going to really hurt his lap time. Brad Dyer practically right up against the inside wall, about a foot between that and his front end. The 21.9 and a 21.8 still for Steven Taylor. So of course Trenton Vogt, he's sliding up all the way on the high side, not the line that you want to take at this track, and you can see James Ray in the background. Probably he's going to be creeping in just a few more. It's really sideways. He's trying. He's not really, he's going to be way up on the high side. That's not the line, and as opposed to James Ray, he's all the way on the bottom side, right up against that grass. That's not going to work out for Trenton.
So just searching for grip right now of that 19 car because he's struggling to keep it down low on the bottom. The inside is starting to slicken up just a little bit, but that's what you expect to see once you've had nearly 20 cars run around this USA Speedway. 22.7 for Trenton versus a 21.7 for James, so that shows you the pace differential at the end. Dyer with a 7.33. He goes to a 6.78 on his final lap, and his last time through, Steven Taylor is not going to enjoy that fifth trip around the racetrack, as that's at a 22.0. So that's going to be the slowest lap of his run there, but I believe it's going to be Brad Dyer who's a quick driver across that run at a 6.78. That's a pretty good lap from that 56 machine. Puts him down towards the bottom 3/4 of the top 10 as we're getting what I should be, I believe, our penultimate qualifying group out there in an order.
Unfortunately for Trenton, it looked like his initial few laps were good, but then as his run went on, he just started to slowly lose whatever line that he had, and unfortunately he couldn't really find that line, and pretty much that second to last lap and that last lap as well, when he went really, really higher than necessary, that was something that he's, like you said, trying to search for grip, but unfortunately that's not really the case here at USA. There's practically nothing up there to search for, as we're again waiting for the next group of drivers to come out and given the go-ahead from Race Control to start their lap times.
That top line will come in eventually, but we need to see more cars running on this racetrack. I think somewhere around heat number 3 is where that inside line is going to really start to break away, because that's really the main problem right now. It's not that there's not good dirt on the racetrack up on the top side of the racetrack, it's that there's still plenty of good dirt around the inside and middle of the racetrack. So as everyone else for this qualifying group gets themselves in order, we should have Zach Leonardi, Alex Bergeron, Brian Kaufman, and Zachary Dresler getting themselves out there on the racetrack, and this will be the final group for qualifying for the late models. As Zach gets the go-ahead, and he's going to roll off towards corners number 1 and 2 and head down the back straightaway, then followed closely by Alex Bergeron in the 12 race winner on Monday night, and it was a fantastic show that he put on with the likes of Robert Kurtzetter as well as Dylan Semmelman, and he's going to start doing a little bit of weaving as we wait for Brian Kaufman, then eventually Zachary to get released for our very last group. Question is going to be, there going to be any good dirt, or is this racetrack going to have the speed that we saw on it at group number 1, especially I think for that 12 Bergeron. He's the name that instantly jumps out to me.
Yeah, Alex Bergeron is definitely someone to keep an eye on. He's weaving, trying to make sure that he can get his tires in and everything going, and making sure that he knows how to handle that car, especially with that when that's going to step out when he gets to go ahead. But Zach Leonardi making his way on the top side through turns 1 and 2, the middle of turn 2 right now, and that number 24. Going to be really interesting to see if his car steps out coming out turn number 2, expecting the green to get these cars underway, and there he goes, full throttle, a little bit sideways, but he keeps it off the wall, manages to do that. Alex Bergeron also down and away, so is everyone else. 24 Zach Leonardi way too high up on the racetrack in the turns 3 and 4. Not ideally the exit line, but maybe he knows something that we don't. He's across the start-finish line to start. And of course, Alex Bergeron making his way through the middle of turns 3 and 4. Exactly, making contact all over the inside grass in the middle of turns 1 and 2, and he's actually going to be catching up to number 23, Brian Kaufman, who has some type of issue, and into the wall looked like exactly that right fender, but look at that, he's right up against that inside wall in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Amazing pace, but that may be stifled just a little bit by 23 Kaufman not really having the run that he's going to be having. And looks like Kaufman's going to go to the high side. 24 again down on that low side. Bergeron also crossing his line. 31 of Zachary Dressler almost making contact. A little bit of a wiggle on the front straightaway.
23 car of Kaufman went around and promptly got out of his car. That's going to be the end of his run. Zach Leonardi, his first lap with a 21.582. So fifth quickest thus far as Alex Bergeron goes to a 4.51 and he does a 21.388. I thought the racetrack had it in it, and Alex Bergeron finds it in the final qualifying group of the night. Let's see what he can do on his fourth venture around this racetrack, down to the inside of corners number 3 and 4. Come on, Alex, can you get that car down into the twos and that number 12 machine off the final corner down the front straightaway? Is going to be a 6.48 for him. Not going to be improvement on that lap for sure, as everyone else is still out there and just rolling out there on the racetrack. But quickest time of the night coming from Alex in the closing moments of qualifying.
Alex Bergeron has completely destroyed Greg Thompson's time by about 300ths of a second. Goodness, that is how you I'm in this 360, so of course he's going to be down in here, but that's just the qualifying times. There's a lot more to everything than just qualifying times. Of course, you have to beat everyone else as well on track, but qualifying times, if that doesn't say something, well, I don't know what does. But that is an amazing job by Alex Bergeron.
Amazing drive by that Team VLR driver and the drill spill machine for sure. So for that number 12 car, he has to be super happy thus far around this first week of the American Dirt Series is going thus far with a race win in the opening round in the 360 sprint cars, and takes the pole position away in the qualifying for the opening round of the late models in the same week. And with that should be the end of qualifying as we know it right here, right now. And we're going to be getting these drivers sorted into heat races. It's going to be a 4-heat program on this one coming at you tonight. And for those who have never tuned into the American Dirt Series, previously broadcast on Max Speed and as well here now on RaceSpotTV, this is the format that they use. The top 2 from the heat races automatically transfer to the A main, and they get sorted into a trophy dash. Everyone else, they're going to have to roll through either in one of the lower mains, be that a D main, and they've even had E mains in the past. That's something that's going to happen. Not going to be see what we're having tonight on this show, but those drivers that, like I said, finish in the top 2, they'll be sorted into a trophy dash. That will have a random inversion of some sort, so it'll be 8 cars. They'll pick a number between 1 and 8. That much of the field for the trophy dash will get inverted. They'll line them up. They'll run a sprint race, about 8-10 laps or so on the clock, and then that will sort out the starting positions for the A main. So you want to hope that your name gets drawn. But like I said, we have to get there from the heat races. Then, well, you have to do well in that trophy dash also. But same story, if you don't get yourself there, have an opportunity to make that feature event through the C and B mains, and if you're one of those slower drivers, it's going to be a very, very long night of racing for you, Gary. Is you run pretty much a heat race, wait around for the trophy dash and other heats to get done, and then you have to basically, if you're going to be someone who goes from the bottom main to the top main, you're talking about probably close to 70 to 80 laps of racing, all back to back.
Yeah, of course, sometimes you need that rest, but then again, that's it just shows how talented you are and how much control and stamina that you have, especially at a track like this, and especially when the late models here step out just a little bit on, at least on the back straightaway when given the throttle. So it's going to be interesting to see if that happens when they're on the opposite side of the racetrack, coming to the start-finish line.
So just getting everything sorted out is race control at the moment. As I was getting ready to message Cody, and he sent me a message as we're getting ready to start lining up heat race number 1 in just a moment on RaceSpotTV and in your American Dirt Series. It's going to be 8 laps around the USA International Speedway, and in this championship, cautions do not count for the heat, trophy dashes, and the lower mains. In the feature event, the A main caution laps will count, but if a caution flag flies that is thrown manually by the race control, Gary, they will basically manually form the field back up and then go back to racing.
Definitely something that's interesting. I've seen it before, and it's really, really amazing. I've actually been in pace truck in a different place, but it was fun though nonetheless. But probably not as fun as watching these is going to happen because, well, like you said, Heat 1 is starting back up. Hunter Poston weighing in pit road. He's going to be starting at least in 5th. So everyone just waiting for race control to, like you said, get everything sorted out and just making sure that everything is a-okay and all set for the entertainment that we're about to give everyone tonight.
Starting grid for heat race number 1 is going to be 6 cars. Alex Bergeron will be on the pole starting inside of Brandon Peterson, Richard Stallings, and Steven Taylor on row 2 with Hunter Poston and Kyle Beck rounding out row number 3. So like we said, top 2 drivers get sorted into the trophy dash as everyone sorts themselves out on towards pit road, and drivers will be getting themselves in order here for this first of 4 heat races tonight. I have to say, this is going to be an exciting night of action for the late models. Super excited about this. They've become my favorites for sure on the Friday Night Dirt Night. Just these cars, they race so good, and a lot of talented names in this league and in this championship, and with the format, it's guaranteed to put on an exciting show as well. So for the 12 machine of Alex Bergeron, runs in the final qualifying group, immediately gets the call and has to get back in the car, just roll off here on this opening heat race of the night. And that 12 car, he wants to go. He's already mashing that throttle pedal.
Alex Bergeron really wants to go, and unfortunately Kyle Beck has stepped out of the race car, and well, unfortunately, apparently his night is done. Not really too confident on what qualifying time that he had, as the field is now going to get rolling. 8 laps of heat race number 1 is going to be underway in just a few moments.
So field rolling his way down the back straightaway, and basically has to be busy minds here for these guys as it gets cut down to 5 cars. It's going to be all on Alex on this one to decide when he wants to go here in the American Dirt Series and kick off the second night of action in this championship as they roll these cars down through 3 and 4. Boy, oh boy, am I really excited about this one. Should be 2 pace laps for these guys, so maybe a little bit anticlimactic in this one, and no signal at all from the 12 machine seeing that he wants to go, and we know that he likes to get on that throttle pedal early. So another 3/4 of a mile to think about it. Gary, who's your pick for heat race number 1?
Oh man, it's that time. I'd say I'm going to go with Bergeron. He had a dominant qualifying time and broke the 21.4 barrier into the 21.3, so it's going to be interesting, and obviously he's probably going to come out the winner of this, so he's going to be my pick.
Gary is going to make the easy pick because he's lazy. That's the conclusion I'm going to come to as field rolls down the back straightaway. You see him starting to stack it up, and now the big question has to be asked. Which of these 2 drivers will go directly to the A main, and which ones will we see running in the trophy dash tonight? The invisible safety car, you could say, comes off of pit road. That 12 machine gets onto the go pedal as we are green for lap number 1 of this heat race here tonight from USA International Speedway. And Alex Bergeron leads them down in towards corners number 1 and 2 for the first time. Off the back straightaway, everyone's trying to get single file, but they're fighting for 3rd. That's between Richard Stallings and Steven Taylor as they roll through 3 and 4 at the end of lap number 1.
Everybody except the 83 is pretty much right against that inside line, and well, unfortunately for Hunter Poston, he's not really getting the run that he wants to, but look at Alex Bergeron, he's pulling away, and well, I'm kind of glad I made that choice at the last second, but you can see Richard Stallings, he's practically right on Brandon Patterson coming after number 2, I should say, and of course just not really giving any room, not being forgiving at all, and well, here comes Steven Taylor on the high side, goes in a little too hot and nearly gets the 17 of Richard Stallings. It doesn't make any contact, and there was just enough room for them.
So coming now to lap number 3 on this one for Alex Bergeron as he works himself down this back straightaway with a nice, I'd say, about 0.3 of a second gap over Brandon Peterson. Richard Stallings is lurking for that second spot though, and you know that 17 car is going to want that position as soon as he gets the opportunity to get it down the front straightaway once again as to begin lap number 4. Half distance, cross flags next time once they get their 83 car pushes way up the racetrack. Still want to be down along the bottom in these late models, so Brandon needs to be a little bit patient with this as that 83 car seems to have a bit of understeer, slides down to the bottom, does a good job this time of keeping it down glued to that inside of the racetrack as we're half distance across the timing beam.
I believe the A3 actually did get a little piece of the wall coming out of into turn number 1, but look at that. Yeah, 17, the difference is pretty much obvious from the A3. A3 thinking he can run that slightly higher line. So far it's working for him, but nothing as of yet. 17's in a way pulled away from the 3. The 3's drop back. The 17 all over the back of A3. Goodness gracious, everyone is trying to figure out where to go. And well, there goes Peterson to the high side. Here comes Stallings into the inside. Nothing as of yet. Unfortunately, Stallings cannot just can't get that run yet. And oh wait, hold it. Peterson's going to hit the wall coming into turn number 3.
2.5 laps for that 17 car to maybe make something happen for Richard Stallings. Doesn't quite maintain his overlap down the front straightaway as they're showing the popsicle sticks in the air right now. 17 goes to the bottom. 83 at Brandon Peterson, still struggling with that car, a little bit tight, slides up through the middle of the racetrack and opens half a door for the 17 of Stallings. In towards 3 and 4 for the penultimate time, and Stallings is going to look to try to slot himself to the inside, wheel to wheel, off down towards the front straightaway, but still, Richard can't get the momentum off the corner. White flag waves as they work themselves into 1 and 2 for the final time. Alex Bergeron still rolls out ahead in this heat race with a big margin here, and Richard tries to move again, coming off the corner number 2, not going to stick as they roll through 3 and 4. 17 throws it down low, but not aggressively enough. It's not going to be there. Alex Bergeron is going to win the first heat race, and Brandon Peterson will just hold over Richard Stallings to transfer his way into the trophy dash later tonight. So what a run from these guys. We're going to see him come down the back straightaway, stop, and let race control get these results tallied. But what a run there, Gary, from that 12 car. Alex looked absolutely picture perfect in that one. As we seem to be, we seem to have lost Gary somehow, but I'm going to see if we can get with that number 12 car of Alex Bergeron here in just a moment. Let's see if he is there. Alex, do you got us?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we got Alex. Alex, splendid run from you. You were super quick in qualifying. Came out in that very, very last group. Put on that pole time of a 3.88. Then you come out and you win that first heat. How is that number 12 car hooked up?
Well, it's pretty good. It was a good race. But the bottom was very quick, so I kind of stayed there the whole race, and we'll see how it does in the dash. Hopefully we'll clinch a win again.
Talking about these late models, we've seen you on Dirt Night get very proficient in them. How much do you think it's going to take beating that bottom up to make that top groove really start to open up? Because we know that these big cars, they like running low.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe the middle line is going to be very good, so hopefully we'll have a good run. Maybe it's gonna be like the sprint cars. Maybe we'll see many lines, and we'll have to play with the throttle and see how it does. So can't wait.
Well, thank you for joining us, Alex. Good work in qualifying and in the heat. Hope to see you have good luck in the trophy dash. Hope for a 0 to get drawn for that inversion.
Yeah, we'll see. But even though I started last, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, thank you.
No problem. So that was Mr. Alex Bergeron, winner of heat race number 1, and we're going to be getting heat race number 2 rolling here in just a second. As we'll go down your starting grid for that race right here, right now. This is going to have Mr. Greg Thompson on pole for heat race number 2, followed by DJ Kilanowski, Brad Dyer, Ray Chapman, David Jones, and Trenton Vogt is going to be the field for this heat race. As we're trying to get Gary back, but needs to be something happening on his end, unfortunately. But they're going to be getting the field set here in just a second. Field is down there on the racetrack. I think they're just waiting on one more driver to get their butts into gear and back out there onto the racing surface. I'm sure Cody is currently sitting here wishing he had Blake to yell at all these drivers for him, as they're going to work themselves back out onto the racetrack here. And Greg Thompson, who is very good in qualifying, second quickest on the night, lowest down in the 4s without getting underneath them. Alex, of course, the only driver getting under that 0.4 marker, and the second place starter of DJ Kilanowski, not quite as quick, only managed a high 5, barely outside the 5s was DJ, or excuse me, barely inside the 5s was DJ. So I think he's going to struggle a little bit trying to keep up with Greg, but I think things are going to be very, very tight beyond that because Brad Dyer in qualifying for this one is 6, 7, 8. So even though the fight for first may not be very close, I think we're going to have an entertaining battle for the second spot on back, and that's going to be the real interesting one to watch, I think, because, of course, top 2 transfer directly to the dash later tonight, of course, directly to that feature event. The 5 cars all roll themselves off towards this back straightaway, and in just a moment, we're going to be putting the field in command of Greg Thompson. First 8 laps of action tonight for the American Dirt Series Thursday night late model series, brought to you by CMF Motors. Electrics was absolutely caution-free. Now off towards 3 and 4. Let's see if these guys can be just as picture perfect as well while putting on as good of a show. Greg Thompson comes off corner number 4 and gets on that go pedal quick. It is not a good jump from the 15 up top whatsoever. DJ Kilinowski, he's going to stack him up 3 wide. We're going to have a bit of a multi-car incident entering turn 1, but nothing is going to end up facing the wrong direction as DJ immediately loses a spot. Everyone is still running here as they roll down the back straightaway in towards 3 and 4 for the first time. DJ going to try to get that second position back on Brad Dyer. That 15 car not liking the throttle application here early. Riding on board right now with that 3rd place car of DJ Kilinowski. He's trying to work on Brad Dyer here. You see him come down the back straightaway in towards 1 and 2 at the end of the second circuit around this racetrack. Off towards the front straightaway once again. Brad pushes a little bit, but DJ does even more so. And DJ makes that little mistake off 4, going to give a big advantage to the 56 of Brad Dyer as they roll here on lap number 3 down this back straightaway once again. And meanwhile, out in front, Greg Thompson already out to a 10 to 12 car length advantage over Brad Dyer in that second spot. Huge margin right now for your current race leader and second place in qualifying tonight. Back off down this back straightaway. They're going to be coming to half distance here through corners number 3 and 4. Greg just being nice and cautious, not pushing the margins too much, trying to keep the car around the middle of the racetrack. Is Brad Dyer not looking quite so stable, trying to hold off DJ Kilinowski. He's a little behind the racetrack in the 15. DJ might have an opportunity because Brad's way up the racetrack, and the 15 is going to pull alongside, exiting corner number 2. Bit of contact down this back straightaway, and DJ's trying his hardest to get that transfer spot back through 3 and 4 and off this corner. They're going to come once again. Brad found some grip up through that middle groove out there on the racetrack, and he's going to be able to hold on to that second spot for now, as we're going to have 3 laps left to go here in this one. Revisiting turn number 3 and 4 for the 6th time. They're going to come off and begin lap number 7. Greg Thompson continues to stretch his margin as they roll through corners number 1 and 2 for the 6th time tonight. 7th time in heat race number 2. So 2 to go in this event, and down the back straightaway for the penultimate time for Brad Dyer. He's managed to open up a couple car length advantage over DJ Kilinowski, but he gets a little bit too much rotation, I think, through the middle of 3 and 4. White flag's going to be waving for Greg Thompson. One more circuit around this racetrack for him to wrap up heat race number 2, but we still have to keep an eye on this final transfer position between Dyer and Kilinowski down the back straightaway for the final time. Then towards corners number 3 and 4. Everyone looking pretty much picture perfect as they roll through this corner, and DJ, I think, not going to be close enough, and he's going to be kicking himself after that mistake on the start. But Greg Thompson, that 313, is going to be more than happy as he wins heat race number 2 in the American Dirt Series Super Late Model Championship, as they're going to roll themselves down the back straightaway, get this finishing order sorted out. And then we will have a chat here in just a moment with heat race 2 winner, Mr. Greg Thompson. Well, I believe we have him. Greg, do you copy?
Yep, gotcha.
We're stood by with that number 313 machine. Greg, that car looked fantastic in qualifying. We saw you in one of the earlier groups, so it's been a while since we've seen you, but you looked absolutely picture perfect out there in heat race number 2. How is that racetrack feeling, considering how long it's been since you were out there in qual?
It feels great, man. The grip still feels like it's right there where it was, pretty much. It's moving up a little bit, but I think we're ready for the feature. I don't know if we got anything for Alex or not, but we're going to give it a shot.
Good luck to you, Greg, in that feature and in that 313 tonight. That car looks strong, and I think if anyone has anything for Alex, it might just be you. So good luck to you. Hope to see you run strong in the dash and the main.
Thank you.
So now as we get ready to have heat race number 3 gridded up here in just a moment, it's going to be an exciting one here. There's already half the heat races done in this one. There was a 5 heat race show in the sprint cars, and going to be a 4 heat race show here in the late models. They take a swig of water and hydrate myself. Unfortunately, I don't have anything like points or any sort of discussions to talk about with that because it's the opening round. So kind of have to ramble here in order to fill time, but that's what I get paid to do. That's what I do best. So also just got word that the feature event tonight is going to be 45 laps, so going to be a long one around this racetrack at USA International Speedway. Much longer than what we saw in those 360 sprint cars, but that's one of the things you get with late model racing, both in the sim and in real world. You get much longer events compared to those 360 and even the 410 sprints in real life. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of people on the sim demanding like 50 lap main events in those cars, and well, good luck putting on a 50-lap main event for a car with a 30-gallon fuel tank that sucks about a gallon a lap, over a half-mile lap of these racetracks. You've seen the post-race results from heat race number 2 coming at your screen right now. Greg Thompson, Brad Dyer, EJ Kalinowski, Ray Chapman, Dave Jones, and Trenton Vogt did not actually take the green, but heat race number 3 will be coming at you here shortly, and we'll be getting the grid sorted for that as soon as we can. We have the Heat 3 starting grid here ready for you. This is going to be Travis Marsh, Todd LeBoux, Kyle Falk, James Ray, Lindsey Hobbs, and Scott Bellum. There seems to be a little bit of confusion coming through, and, well, I no longer have to fill time all by my lonesome as Gary's coming back, but we'll give him a little bit of time to get himself sorted, as now we have that starting grid coming at you visually out there on your screens. As I said, Travis, Todd, Kyle, James, Lindsey, and Scott going to be the 6 cars rolling in this one. And I believe we've had a late runner added to heat race number 4, Nick Cooper, who we did not see qualify. He's going to be starting from the back of heat race number 4, Gary.
Yeah, lucky for him, he did manage to make his way back into the final heat of the night, so hopefully he can get himself in and get himself to, I believe, what will be the B main race. Well, is that the C main? I'm not.
Well, he has the opportunity. If he's tagged into the heat race, he has the opportunity to race his way to the front. So he's not necessarily just going directly to one of those main events. He may go directly to the A main if he can race his way forward.
Yeah, that'd be a great job for him, as everyone's starting to line up now just at the end of pit road.
So getting this heat race sorted here, getting the grid set. Blake Derflinger in the chat claims he does not yell. Well, that is unfortunate. You need to learn from Will Vincent. And just getting everyone back out there on this racetrack and get ready to get rolling in heat race number 3. It's been an interesting first couple of heats without you, Gary. Still all been very clean. We saw in the last heat race, EJ Kalinowski, as he got onto the throttle pedal, he was starting from that second spot. Did not get a good jump at all. Got all sorts of wheel spin, and he immediately dropped a couple of spots. And I think if you're someone who would have been watching that second heat, if you're the likes of, especially that second place runner of Todd LeBoux, that's going to be something you need to keep an eye on, because you're going to be in that same position, and you do not want to instantly drop yourself out of a direct ticket to the A main just on lap number 1 before you ever turn this car under race conditions.
Yeah, in a way, it's a similar situation to what happens on the back straightaway in qualifying. You hit the throttle, and the car just doesn't want to go with you, and it steps out loose since everyone is lined up, and we should be getting a go-ahead from race control in just a few moments.
Everyone is indeed lined up here, and going to be an interesting one to watch. So still just waiting on the command from race control to get themselves out there onto the racing surface. Is Vince cool? I think Vince has gotten out of this heat race as well. He's on the dock. So another driver who did not qualify going to be tagged onto the back end of this heat race. So that's one of the interesting things about the American Dirt Series. Of course, they run qualifying, but if you show up late, they will add you into the show. But it is essentially as if you got the longest lap time in the world. I think only Will Vincent is capable of slower lap times, as he is a slow driver indeed. But pace car, well, I will say the pace car of Travis Marsh, if he's setting the pace, he's going to lead them off onto the racetrack, as we now have 7 cars rolling their way out.
I've seen 6, so I know what to expect from that, but 7, it's bound to be interesting. We haven't really seen that tonight, but we do have 2 heats of that, 2 heats of 6 and 2 heats of 7, so pretty good. It's going to be in a way, it's actually really interesting as everyone's making their way down through the back straightaway, about 40 miles an hour, I should say. Slowly making their way through turns 3 and 4, and should be getting an extra lap of pacing as well.
So, my professional opinion, how will 7 cars change the dynamic of this race compared to 6? It will not change it in any way, because it's only just a single race car, so things won't be that much more. I think that said, if Vince is pretty quick, there is a chance Vince in that 007 machine, who unfortunately that car is not branded as an Aston Martin, and he is not holding a shaken martini in his driver's hand while he races, that car will probably just, well, hopefully he'll race his way to the front. That'll be the interesting thing that we all watch, is drivers lead themselves off towards the back straightaway, and now it's going to be all eyes on that number 2 machine with the Cadillac branding on the nose to see how strong he can get off. We've seen the Cadillacs dominate in the Pirelli World Challenge as well in the Tudor Sports Car Series the last handful of years. Now, what can that Cadillac super late model do? As green flag is about to fly, and Travis Marsh from the middle groove of the racetrack gets on that go pedal early, and he gets a big jump over Todd LeBeau, but Todd able to hold that second spot.
No.
52's the round, 7's the round. Might be our first caution of the night here in heat race number 3, and indeed it is going to be the first caution of the night, and yeah, everyone gets slowed down. And what we should be getting here, Gary, we saw this the other night, this should be a full reset. That lap is not going to count. So that even though they started lap 1, they didn't get enough of the lap completed for it to count.
Yeah, unfortunate. And you can see in that replay, the 7 just dove in just a little bit too early, and well, here it is again on the screen. And not sure. Apparently, it's just just a long, not exactly a correct line to enter. A good line, but it's just that the 52 was so sideways that contact unfortunately happened. And Kyle unfortunately sent around into the wall, but Lindsay also involved. But like you said, on the bright side, a full reset. As well, there's a chopper cam of that replay, and hard into the outside goes to 7. But the 007 though did make its way through. Had that been an actual a non-reset race, if you will, then that would be going in his favor.
So cars stacked up, I believe we're going to be going green this time by. They rolled themselves through 3 and 4. Travis Marsh went early last time, and he's going to do it again from that middle groove. Green flag back out the inside, getting a little bit slick, but this time Kyle Falk, he's going to take the second spot away from Kyle LeBeau. From Todd LeBeau. He's got 1 car up in the wall. That's the 01 of James Ray. He already got into an incident earlier on. That 11 machine is Scott Bellum. He's struggling as well. So a couple drivers in heat race number 3 not having the run they'd like is Lindsey Hobb. He is running that inside line in the 7, and he has that 3rd, 4th spot taken away cleanly now.
That battle for the top 3 is starting to slowly get heating up, but that may actually change the battle for the first position as a 94 all the way on the inside grass. Goodness. And Kyle Falk this is actually really good for him, but maybe not, because here comes Todd LeBeau to the inside, straight beside him, all the way to the inside, going to make a little bit of contact into the inside wall, just a small touch, you couldn't even notice it. But I'm pretty sure that pan's actually scratched on that left front, but had it gotten any closer. So far, 52 running not really as low as he wants to. Here comes Todd. Nope, can't get that as the door just closes from that 52.
So running lap number 3 now through 3 and 4. They're going to roll themselves as they're approaching half distance in this heat race here in heat race number 3. Instantly enough, both Monday and Thursday, first cautions waived during that 3rd heat race as they now roll themselves through 1 and 2. Travis Marsh is just casually running one of the most consistent races ever. 3:21.8s all right in a row. Everyone else behind struggling down in the mid to high 22s as the 52 machine of Kyle Falk still fighting with Todd LeBoux through corners number 3 and 4, and going to be a half distance here as 4 laps down, 4 to go, as this is going to be the main battle. 52 machine all over the grass down low, and there's a big of a bump down there that's going to upset that car. 94 gets a big drive off the bottom. Todd LeBoux wants to transfer right now, and Kyle Fox can give up that second spot.
Amazing timing from number 94, but of course we have Bauer heating up for that 4th place position, as well as 7 in the L1. Just now coming out turn 4, James Ray alongside Lindsey Hobbs right now to the inside over that bump that you mentioned earlier, and of course the 7 does manage to stick it out. So does the L1. Everyone is still continuing on, and well, so far this battle for 4th has not ended. Of course, that battle for 2nd, though, Todd LeBeau has actually gotten advantage of that. And, well, unfortunately, as Kyle gets into the outside wall coming out turn number 4, his chances are fading away fast.
About a lap and a half left here in heat race number 3, and Travis Marsh is out to a big advantage right now. Fight is still on for that 4th spot as Lindsey Hobbs wheel to wheel with James Ray right now. James has that preferred line down low, but he gets that inside wall. That's definitely not the preferred line, but Lindsey not liking that middle groove, gets the wall a second time. White flag's gonna wave, and James loses a lot of momentum after those tags with the wall, and because of that, a big margin given to that 7 car. Down the back straightaway for the final time, and in towards corners number 3 and 4. Travis Marsh is going to enjoy his infinite car length advantage as he comes down this front straightaway, and he's going to win heat race number 3. Todd LeBoux will race himself back into that 2nd spot, and he's going to be a happy camper with that, as Kyle Falk is going to be sitting there thinking what could have been, as Lindsey Hobbs somehow limps that car around the racetrack, missing an entire nose section, but that's probably definitely really good for the power to weight ratio, as drivers are going to come to a stop down this back straightaway, and I'm going to get that number 2 machine race winner of heat race number 3 into the action for us. So Travis Marsh, if I could find him, there he is. Now we have him stood by with Gary Weaver, is the winner of heat race number 3, Mr. Travis Marsh.
Well, Travis, you had an amazing run, and well, once that battle behind you just started going, you just started flying straight in front of him, acting like nothing was happening, and as Rendy said, casually increasing your lead and also an infinite car lead. And goodness, how's that performance? How's that track out there tonight?
It seems pretty good right now. I was kind of most of the race just moving around, seeing where all I could run at for just to learn. It's been a while since I've run them, so I don't know where to be and when to be there anymore. So I just run something different every lap to see what everything was capable of, and it all seems pretty even right now.
They did an amazing job, and of course, what went through your mind as you probably heard about that battle coming out of that battle for 2nd place?
I don't know. I never looked back or heard anything about it, so I'm really not sure.
Of course, your winner of Heat 3, Travis Marsh. Congratulations on your win tonight.
Thank you.
Well, as that comes to a close, we'll be getting ready for the final heat race in this one tonight. Full results of heat race number 3 up on your screen right now. Travis Marsh, Todd LeBoux, Kyle Falk, Lindsey Hobbs, James Ray, Scott Bellum, as well as I just get major brain block right there for a moment because I'm a professional. Vince Kilbus is going to be the last runner in that 007 machine. So an entertaining heat race right there, Gary.
Yeah, really exciting, and especially for what happened between Lindsey. I mean, that's just a normal thing that happens, just a usual racing incident, coming in too soon, too early, too fast even, but that's just something that happens, and luckily they did get that full race reset. So of course, Nick Cooper saying on pit road, he's one of the, well, not anymore, he will be starting in 7th for Heat 4, as of course everyone's just getting everything sorted out, and race control should be given the go-ahead for them to line up on pit road and get this final heat race going.
Yep, and we'll be getting that starting grid for you here shortly to get ready for heat race number 4 to start coming out. And people are sort of getting in the cars sporadically and getting ready to get themselves in order, as your starting grid for the final heat race tonight. Zach Leonardi and Terry the Nerd Renner will be rolling off row number 1. Lewis Hewitt and Zach Dresler, row 2. David Gullion and Brad Kaufman, row 3. And Nick Cooper will be a lonely fellow rolling out the back of the grid on row number 4 in that 7th spot. Nick Cooper, he's someone, I've seen Nick run quite a bit, Gary, and he's pretty quick. I don't know if he's going to be able to run himself up there all the way to that race lead, though, or even to that second spot, because he's done no laps on this racetrack in the session, has no idea what the slickness of this racetrack might be. Everyone else here has done, you know, a bit of qualifying and seeing how this track has developed through all these heat races. I think that Nick is going to struggle a bit, as there's a bit of contact on pit road, amusingly.
Yeah, of course, everyone not really knowing where to go just yet. Nick probably just got a little bit confused on which road to line up in, but luckily he does get that sorted out, and of course he will be lining up in. On the bright side, even though he is lonely in row number 4, he does get his own row. So props to him for that. I believe we have actually only 6 drivers starting this out.
Yeah, we are down to 6. I'm not sure who we lost. Let's see. Let's take a look. Oh, the document changed, so someone was not involved in this heat. So, oh well. But regardless, 6 cars out there. Nick's still out there. But regardless, it's going to be an entertaining heat race for sure. Zach Leonardi, who is your 5th place qualifier, of course, tonight, is going to be the one that we really have to keep an eye on, as well as Terry the Nerd Renner. I'm having fun calling him the nerd.
Yeah, I can hear that just in your voice, of course. I can tell the suspension is building slowly and out. Well, not literally the actual car suspension, although that thing really is, in a way, kind of strong and really interesting to look at. But suspense for the final heat race, and no doubt a lot of things are on Zach Leonardi's mind, along with Terry Renner. Those two have got to be thinking. They have to have a lot of things going through their minds, but so is Nick, because he came in, he's going to be starting last, so hopefully he can get the position that he wants.
So they roll themselves down this back straightaway, and Zach Leonardi is going to be beginning to think to himself when he wants to get on that throttle pedal in the 24 car through corners number 3 and 4. And as we've run these heat races, we've noticed that the top line is where these guys have been liking to start. A little bit of contact as Terry, I think maybe a little bit apprehensive. 24 catches everybody napping. Big advantage for him. Oh, Terry Renner's around. A couple cars around down this front straightaway of caution flies. It's going to be a full reset once again, as I think pretty much just stacking the field up a little bit. Terry Renner trying to run on that top side, Gary. It looked to me like he just tried to get on that gas pedal a couple times way too early, expecting Zach to go then. Made contact with him a couple times as well. I think maybe expecting to be a little bit far down on that inside groove, but when he eventually went, when Zach eventually went, Terry just didn't respond at all, and that just stacked the field up big time.
Yeah, replay on your screen right now, and well, that's just because it's just a huge chain reaction. The 45 went up, and we'll be seeing this in just a few moments, actually, as you can see right now between the 02 and the 24. They're both making contact. 24 completely jumps it, and like you said, catches Terry completely off guard. Watch for the 45 here, bottom left. He's going to slide up. 31 goes down at the same time, collects the 02, and well, luckily for Lewis Hewitt, that 666, he gets through that, and just barely making his way through that is Nick Cooper.
So Drew trying to catch back up to the field as he gets out there in the new car, and we will be getting a full grid reset for this one as well. Still 8 laps on the board, and everyone will be in the order they were supposed to be, as Terry's trying to just nicely work his way through and get to that second spot. Lewis Hewitt kindly opens up a lane, and thank you for that, Lewis. If only people were that kind on the 805 and the 163 on my drive home.
Unfortunately, that's not going to happen, but sometimes it could, but there's just a very small chance that we're going to have, as we're going to have a very, one more caution lap, it appears, and one more pace lap, I should say. Everyone's still lined up. I believe Gallion and Cooper should be on opposite rows, but that's just me. Probably just a small miscommunication, but nonetheless, they are where they're supposed to be, so just on different lines, of course. Definitely going to be interesting to see how these guys handle this start, and hopefully Terry Renner is actually a little bit more aware this time.
So if anyone in the American Dirt Series, I know a lot of you guys are watching, both who run the sprint cars and who run these late models. If you want to come up with an entertaining nickname that I will entertainingly spam on the air, feel free to do so and add it to the document that Hugo sent you guys a while back. But regardless, through 3 and 4, let's see if this restart is going to be even nicer. A little bit of contact amongst your leaders once again, and this time Zach Leonardi on the gas pedal at a big margin once again, but maybe not quite so much. Inside though, Lewis Hewitt in the 666 really throwing it up the inside on Terry Renner. Can he work the momentum down low? Lewis trying to make it stick, but no doing just yet. Side by side as well behind between Zach Dresler and Nick Cooper. Nick's already up +1 from where he started. Now looks down low on the 31 of Zach Dresler. Nick Cooper, 2 spots on this opening lap. Now he has to try to reel in the Aussie of Lewis Hewitt as they can now come to the end of lap number 1 and roll through the second time through 1 and 2.
This is going to be a huge battle. He's already on the inside, barely making contact coming out of turn number 2. Goodness, he's all over the back bumper right now. Going to dive to the inside as Hewitt drives all the way to the top side. So is the O2. That's going to open the door for Cooper. He's going to get alongside and clear him. That's up 3 positions now. One more spot. Nick Cooper is golden, but right now Zach Leonardi driving away. But right now all eyes are on these 5 cars. Everyone trying to battle for at least that second place position as Hewitt starting to fall back to Zachary Dressler's hands.
So Nick Cooper really making that bottom side work perfectly here at the end of lap number 3. Everyone else running the middle or even moving to the top side of the racetrack. Down this front straightaway now, beginning lap number 435, all the way down to that inside groove, running through the slick where no one else seems to be able to find the speed. And look at that drive off the bottom side of this racetrack. He wants this second spot and to open his ticket directly to the A main. Nick Cooper through corners number 3 and 4 is gonna get himself that ticket right now. Moves himself from the final position on this grid up into that second spot. And now a little bit of contact wheel to wheel as Terry Renner not being done quite yet down this back straightaway once again, and Nick Cooper is now gonna get himself clear. Let's see if Terry throws his hat back at the 35 car through 3 and 4. No, not gonna be able to do so. Is there any way that Nick can reel in your race leader in these last handful of laps?
Hopefully again, and Lewis Hewitt making contact, I believe, with Terry Renner on that front straightaway. They both went low, but here comes Zachary Dressler on the inside as well. Looks like he's found something beside Lewis Hewitt right now. The only 2 cars battling side by side. Hewitt with the advantage so far into turn number 3 and 4. Here comes Dressler. Possible slide job. No, not enough space for it. Still side by side coming out turn corner number 4. And a little bit into the wall is Hewitt.
So a little bit of contact with that outside wall. 31 of Zach Dresler is going to pick the position up because of that. Lewis Hewitt not going to be happy as Nick Cooper is trying to set his sights on the race leader of Zach Dresler. He was 0.07 of a second quicker last time around. That's not going to be nearly enough to catch that race leader as the white flag is going to be in the air here for that number 24 car. Nick Cooper is also more than clear of Terry Renner, who wants to just hold on to that 3rd spot, I think, at this juncture. But Lewis is lurking on Zach Dresler as they work themselves down the back straightaway. 666. Is he going to slot it up the outside to maybe try to pick a spot up? No, the bottom groove is still just too strong. But coming to the checkered is going to be Zach Leonardi to win heat race number 4. And Nick Cooper goes from 6th on the grid into that 2nd spot. That 35 car is hooked up.
Nick Cooper has finally gotten the one thing that he's always, well, he's gotten a great start here, an amazing finish by him. It's just, he's got to be really happy right now and really proud of himself, finishing 2nd after starting dead last after not qualifying, originally 7th, but right now after avoiding that incident on the very first lap, that is what got him the advantage.
So final race results for the final heat race is as follows. Zach Leonardi wins from Nick Cooper, followed by Terry Renner, Zach Dresler, Lewis Hewitt, and David Gaulian. Let's see if we can get Zach up here for a quick interview. And indeed, we've got him. Zach, that car, that number 24 car, was pretty hooked up, but that number 35 machine who you saw, who finished in 2nd, I don't know if you're able to see what happened, but Nick went from the last place on the grid up to that 2nd spot. He was charging. Did you think there might have been some way he could have reeled you in?
Well, you know, I mean, I felt really good, and I knew he had to start in the back because he showed up late or whatever, and I saw that he was in 2nd, but I think he was in 2nd in the last few laps, and we were about the same speed, so I wasn't too worried about it. I know from what I've raced with him, he's going to be really good every time out there, but I'm feeling pretty confident right now.
Oh, he was flying, of course, Bergeron and everyone else who's won these heats. Pretty much everyone who started at the front of their heat races won them. Think you got anything for those guys in the dash and the main?
I think I do. I still think the track's got to slick off a little bit more for there to be a lot of racing. I think it's going to be, you know, who can get that bottom. But I think as it slicks off more and more, it might widen out a little bit and get some good racing.
Good luck to you, Zach, in that number 24 car. You looked really good out there. You looked really good in qualifying as well. Good luck once we get a little later down the show.
Thank you.
So we are going to bring you the C main before we go to the trophy dash. We saw this last week on Monday as well. They like to really slicken up this racetrack before they let the fast guys go out there and really wrangle. So let's take a look at the lineup for C main right now. It's currently 7 drivers. So a not so large C main. So it's basically going to be like one of these heat races here, Gary. And that's going to be James Ray, Lewis Hewitt, Kyle Beck, Trenton Vogt, Scott Bellum, David Gallion, and Vince Herbs. Oh, no, never mind. I misinterpreted what Cody just told me. We were going to do the dash first. There's not going to be a C main. So I misinterpreted that. So, Blake, if you could send angry messages to Cody on Facebook, to which he will then promptly reply, "Why aren't you here?" That will probably be for the best.
So for the trophy dash, we have Alex Bergeron, Greg Thompson, Travis March, Zach Leonardi, Brandon Peterson, Brad Dyer, Todd LeBoux, and Nick Cooper, who ironically actually just finished in second. So we already know what he can do in a, if you will, a 6-car field. Maybe he can do the same in an 8-car field.
So invert number that we're getting here is 2 for your trophy dash, and that means basically Alex and Greg swap positions. So that's going to make everyone else, I think, a little bit sad, because the pace that Alex Bergeron had, I don't think you want him ever starting on the front row of this trophy dash.
It's going to be interesting to see him start on the outside, though. But Greg Thompson, of course, is going to take that inside, as he said. And there's your trophy dash starting lineup on your screen. Just to recap: Alex Bergeron, Greg Thompson, Travis Marsh, Zach Leonardi, Brandon Pearson, Brad Dyer, Todd LeBoux, and Nick Cooper. So everyone's still getting ready, just making sure everything is good from race control, and then we will get the go ahead and we're gonna have ourselves a little bit of some little more action, I should say.
So race control, just getting everything sorted. Hopefully Cody is not nearly as angry as I am here. Well, nearly as incompetent as I am, maybe is the best way to put it. As should be an entertaining trophy dash, and bottom side of the racetrack still very, very good, Gary. And we saw in that last heat race, although we've seen most people kind of move up to the middle, I think Nick Cooper just proved to everybody that the fast way around this place is still locked around the bottom.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing. I've seen people run just slightly higher than the inside line, and it doesn't really seem to get them anywhere unless, well, it didn't seem to get them anywhere at all. And I've seen some people just throw it to the outside lane, hoping there's something there, but unfortunately, there's just everything is just on the inside right now. Everyone making their way to pit road, or should I say through pit road, lining up at the end. Of course, everyone just making sure they're getting their correct starting positions, as Bergeron is going to be on the outside of the 313 of Greg Thompson.
Go ahead.
Nick Cooper in a familiar position, lining up last on the row. Of course, he's going to be starting on the outside this time as opposed to inside.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what we can have happen here and what we can see from a Greg Thompson in that 313 and how well he goes. These are the 8 quickest cars of the night. 7 of them were super quick in qualifying. Nick Cooper was not in qualifying, but he rolled his way to the front through his heat race and thus gets an automatic ticket to the A main and well to the trophy dash and to the A main, of course. And the big question has to be that Nick Cooper, that 35 car, he had enough speed that I don't think he's going to be stuck in the back of this trophy dash for very long.
Yeah, he's proved that even from the back he can still make his way to the front, or at least first row, I should say. As I believe we will also be getting 2 pace laps here, as we're pretty much accustomed to it now, unless we're going to be doing an instant start. But hopefully,
Hugo's going to kill you. You're starting the Cam Walsh meme.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no, indeed. As these guys are going to roll themselves out, and it's going to be a 10-lap heat race. And I'll just put it this way, Gary. How many spots is Nick going to pick up?
I think it's a good pickup. From 8th, I would say 4, but that's just me. Of course, I'm being lazy again, so I'll take advantage. So I'll say probably he'll finish about 3rd or 4th. I'm going with 3rd, I should say.
So you're predicting he's going to pick up 3.5 positions?
I mean, what? He's starting 8th. So.
Oh well, yeah, you're right. It'd be 4.5.
Okay, so he'll finish 3rd. What's your pick?
Okay, I think he is going to win this heat race because I am not a smart man. when I gamble. But they're going to roll themselves down this back straightaway in towards 3 and 4, and Greg Thompson, who we've not seen on this racetrack for a while, is going to lead them onto the front straightaway here, and we've not seen Alex on the racetrack in a while either. Green flag flies, and we are green for the Trophy Dash, lap number 1 of 10. Getting started right now. Second place fight is picking up as Alex gets a little bit of contact, I think, from Travis Marsh, who wrestles it through on the inside, and Alex drops back to third, and he's got Zach Leonardi to deal with as Nick Cooper in the background. He's already up a spot. No, he was not, actually. He lost that spot to Todd LeBou, but he's locked down around the bottom, picking up more positions as Greg Thompson is trying to shake away.
Oh, I'm so glad I didn't choose Bergeron this time, because here comes Zach Leonardi to the inside of Bergeron, all the way on that inside grass, trying to find some kind of an opening. Unfortunately, nothing as of yet, but of course that even closer battle between Marsh and Thompson, both of them, as Thompson starts to slide up the racetrack. Marsh keeps it down low on the inside lane, nothing as of yet from Nick Cooper, except for that one place position that he's gotten. Travis Marsh trying to get that inside line as much as he can. Thompson somehow actually hanging on about one lane above.
Everyone finding, go ahead.
Heading into turn 3, here comes Thompson. Thompson sliding up once again, but he's still trying to hang on to it. So Thompson maybe doesn't think that exit line's going to work out as they head down into turn number 1. Getting that bump, he's going to get that lost momentum just a little bit. Here comes Marsh to the inside.
Side by side for the lead in the Trophy Dash 2 car of Travis Marsh. Wants it right here, right now. Going to look down low, which we know there's still some good dirt down there and some speed to be found on Greg Thompson coming off the corner. Getting on to this front straightaway, and the 2 car is not going to be able to hold on to it. Greg Thompson on the top side doing a great job up high to maintain this race lead. Things are getting dicey in the background as well, but we have to watch this race lead as they're approaching the halfway mark in this heat race. Lap number 5 coming to a conclusion off of corner number 4.
Nick Thompson up 2 spots, working on his third on the A3, but actually up front so far single as I believe Nick Cooper actually made a little bit of contact with the A3 Brendan Pearson, and of course even closer he can put all these top 4 under a blanket right now as you see the A3 and 35 battling their way through the corners right now. Single file so far is 12 right now. Alex Bergeron trying to find an opening. Of course, nothing as of yet right now, and nearly into the back bumper with a 24. Goodness, Zach Leonardi. Of course, he's a bit eager. Here comes Travis Marsh again. He can't get to that inside door of the 313.
So that bottom groove maybe going away just a little bit, and that middle starting to be where you want to be. The 2 car really struggling in the background. I think I see the 35 and Nick Cooper. He's up 2 spots from where he started. He's harassing the back of Brandon Peterson as they work down this front straightaway in towards corners number 1 and 2. And now through the second corner down the back straightaway, Greg Thompson still enjoying the good dirt, and Travis Marsh can't make anything happen down low.
Leonardi and Bergeron side by side. Bergeron gets the advantage as of now, but Zach Leonardi still in the inside, just barely getting to that inside wall. Luckily doesn't make any contact, but Leonardi did make a little bit of contact as he makes contact with the outside wall. He made a little bit of contact with Bergeron, but nothing as much to upset him. As you can see, Marsh is now following Thompson. So I believe Marsh is thinking, well, if Thompson's running this line, maybe I can run this line. And well, there goes Thompson down to the inside line, all the way to the grass, and he's going to slide up just a little bit. Marsh is going to slide up higher than him, pretty much right on top of that back bumper.
White flag flies. They work themselves down in towards corner number 1 and 2 for the final time. Greg Thompson still leading the way over Travis Marsh. Travis has been relatively nice with that 3-1-3. I think he just wants that good starting position on the front row for the A main through 3 and 4 for the final time. And they're going to come now down your front straightaway. And Greg Thompson is going to maintain this race lead all the way through and win the Trophy Dash to keep this thing going here in this one. And Nick Cooper only picked up 2 spots, so both me and Gary were incorrect. Well done by Brandon Peterson to really be really hold strong down on that middle groove. And well, I think we're going to get stood by with Mr. Greg Thompson, winner of our Trophy Dash. And well, I now stood by with that 313 machine, as Greg, that car looked pretty hooked up around the middle of the racetrack. The 2 machine of Trav Marsh was trying to make it happen down on the inside, but seems that during that Trophy Dash, after about 3rd or 4th lap, that low groove seemed to lose the speed. Is that how it felt like to you as well?
Yeah, it sure did. I realized real quick that that's not what was going on. That's not where I wanted to be, and I think if I started coming in lower and coming out higher, it's kind of just sliding across the middle. But yeah, definitely coming out anyways is where the grip's at, is on the high side.
And now talking about this racetrack, we saw you in qualifying, of course, second quick. You were one of the earlier groups to go out, and then we saw you in the second heat race. How has this track changed since you were out there and qualified?
It's definitely slickened off, and like I said, you know, the grip's moving up, and I don't think the bottom is going to be where you want to be at.
Good luck to you, Greg. You get yourself the pole position for the feature tonight. I know that's going to be a very, very happy place to be. Good luck to you once we get there.
Thanks, man.
So that was race winner of the Trophy Dash. And he is, I think, going to be a pretty happy camper starting like that. But he's going to have a charging Bergeron starting on his bumper. Or excuse me, a charging Travis Marsh on his bumper as we get a look at your post-race results. Greg Thompson, Trav Marsh, Alex Bergeron, Zach Leonardi, Brandon Peterson, Nick Cooper, Brad Dyer, and Todd LeBeau. And I have to say, I don't know of those drivers which ones I would really pick for that feature win, because Alex was quick when this track was nice and tacky, Gary, but we just saw in that Trophy Dash, he doesn't seem to be as hot in the slick. He wasn't slow, but he didn't look nearly as dominant.
Yeah, something that's not going to go over well with him. He's probably figuring out, looking back at his qualifying times and then this race, trying to compare what could he have done better, or what he should have done, or maybe what is different about the track now as compared to then.
So getting things sorted be the next thing on the tab. Should be that B main, but we'll be getting confirmation of that in just a moment. 12 transfers is what I got told earlier, but it's only a 14-car show, so that might change. I'll get confirmation of that here shortly, but regardless, this B main has two things here, Gary. It's going to be to get a couple drivers eliminated so we can form up for the feature, and it's going to do a nice job of slicking up this racetrack for the feature. And you know, you figure you throw these cars out there for 15, 20 laps, whatever it's going to be for this B main. This racetrack is really going to get beat up before we go to that 45 lap main event.
Yeah, it's going to be even more interesting, though, as it progresses through that 45 lap main event, A main, because the longer that race goes on, the more the track starts to actually, set in use, and everyone's trying to figure out what line to use, and that's the one thing that you don't want to have happen. So, of course, hopefully you can just get this track beat up, and if you're in the A main, well, you can figure out, okay, so what's different compared to the last time I've run this compared to now, and then find out which line is the best. Probably the inside line so far is still the best, but after this race, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the outside or the middle groove.
We're just communicating with our contact in race control, and we actually have a little bit of a slight edit here. So it's going to be all of the drivers are going to transfer here. It's going to be a 15-lap race, so it's going to be a big feature event when you think about it here, Gary. It's going to be 24 cars total. That's going to be a very, very hectic feature event.
Hectic, yes. Exciting, oh, definitely. We've only seen about, 6 to 8 cars on track at once. We're going to be seeing 14 in just a little bit. Of course, that's going to be with our B main. Here you go. And, of course, 14 cars, that's definitely a lot, but 24 is going to be even better and a lot more hectic, but a lot more exciting because there's going to be action going on all around the entire track.
Well, we are actually going to take a short break. Let these drivers get themselves a nice little break here, get themselves something to drink, maybe use the restroom, and then we will be going green for the B main here in just a few moments. Don't go away here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. American Dirt Series Late Model Championship. We'll be right back for the B main, and this can be an exciting one.
Just like a movie, just like a storybook, we are the future, we're the ones they won't overlook. It's time to be the hero. Like you've never seen, like you've never seen. Looking for a hero. Shining, just like in a dream.
So obviously, you guys have come from the virtual world to reality. What do you think about a sim racer coming in the real world? What were your expectations coming in?
Coming from iRacing, a computer program, basically down here to a real world scenario where you got all these guys with all these years and years and years and years of experience that are also using iRacing as a tool to come out and run against those guys and beat them and finish ahead of them and show them, there's a thing or two you might be missing is fantastic. I mean, that's a skill that I know I don't have, and I can appreciate it because I'm terrible at iRacing.
Glenn was able to come into the team. We did a lot of preseason testing, actually a full season's worth of testing before we even started the season. And he came in, there was a lot of sectors that he was the fastest guy out of our team. And Sparky and I are looking at data, trying to catch up to him through some turns. And of course, some places Sparky will be the fastest or I'll be the fastest, and Glenn is able to learn from, what we're doing and vice versa. So it was excellent to see his pace right off of the bat, and speed was never a worry. It's about qualifying well. Qualifying is very difficult, and pretty important in this series. And so is, being able to make effective passes without contact. It's very difficult to pass in these cars, so, it's not easy being here.
I think the level of ultra competitiveness in here, where when normally when you make a pass, you're making a pass with 2 cars involved. But if we're making a pass in this series, you have to remember there's 5 cars waiting behind you. If you mess up that pass, they're going by you.
Yeah, it's like sharks.
Yeah, you're surrounded by sharks. But no, it's been I've been very surprised and very pleased with it. And obviously, I have the 2 champions I'm sitting between. John actually statistically is the most successful MX-5 Cup driver in the world. He owns every record that you would want, none of the bad records.
Maybe some of them, I don't know.
Maybe some of those. And Sparky's one of the quickest guys in the paddock, and obviously the champion now. So I couldn't have picked a better team to be with 6 Sideways. I'm looking at what everybody in the paddock calls gold. I mean, they will pay to look at John and Sparky's data, and I get full access to it. And I get to see where I'm doing well and see where I can improve. And I've been really pleased with my progress.
Welcome back to RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live as we are bringing you the B main for the American Dirt Series Super Late Model Championship, brought to you by CMF Motors Electric. And Gary, this is going to be a crowded B main because we're not holding a C and we're not eliminating anyone. So a busy B main and a busy main event tonight. Going to be, I believe, 17 cars on the docket in this penultimate event that is essentially just going to be a qualifier and will sort the starting grid for the feature.
It's going to be really exciting today. As you can see, the B-main starting grid right now, Richard Songs and DJ Kilowowski will be rounding out the front row. Kyle Falk and Terry the Nerd Renard, row number 2. Row 3 starting Impisk will be Stephen Taylor, Raymond Chapman. Row 4 will be Lindsey Hobbs and Zachary Dressler. Row 5, Hunter Paston and David Jones, running out the top 10. Of course, as you can see, the rest of the field now. Row 6 is going to be James Ray and Lewis Hewitt. Cal Beck and Trenton Vogue will be starting in row 7. I believe I mispronounced Trenton's last name, but on the bright side, at least I attempted that. We will be getting going in just a few moments. The grid is just about to get set up.
Scott Ballum, David Gallion, and Vince Kubis, I think, should be in this feature event as well, as just getting ready for everything to get sorted here. As you see the car's activity, there's activity down on pit road as drivers are getting themselves in order for this, I guess, semifinal event, the best way to put it here in this one. And it's going to be really difficult to call this one because DJ Kalinowski, he was quick in his heat race. Richard Stallings, Kyle Falk, Terry Runner, those top 4 drivers, all very, very competitive in their respective heat races through the earlier stages of tonight.
Yeah, everyone's trying to figure out where to go right now, and it's going to be really interesting. Of course, these 4 fast drivers, along with everyone else, going to be making their way down. It's going to be just completely insane, but exciting at the same time as Familiar number 007 of Vince Coles is also going to be lining up as Hunter Poston as well. There's Raymond Chapman, I see. Everyone's starting to roll out and line up, making sure everything is double checked. Of course, 2 pace laps as per usual. It's going to be really exciting to see how the track is affected between now and the A main.
That's going to be the main thing. I mean, there's a lot of cars out there, which means this racetrack, even though this is a relatively short B main, only 15 laps compared to a 45 lap feature in this one. So not a huge lap count, only 1/3 distance. But this racetrack is still going to take a beating as these cars. I believe we now have everyone out there on the racetrack. Just got to get everyone formed up as we're coming to the end of pacing lap number 1. Now everyone just needs to be calm, cool, collected. Think about what you're doing. Everyone transfers to the A main, so no reason to do anything overly stupid. This is just a qualifier, so to speak, and don't want to make any enemies, Gary, before you get into that A main, especially because you're going to be starting around all these people you're racing around. You don't want to knock someone out of the way so that you can start second to last in the main versus last place in the main, have them pissed off at you, and end up maybe having someone who doesn't want to work with you once you get to that main event. But pace car works themselves through corners number 3 and 4, and Richard Stallings is going to be on that go pedal here in just a moment in the 17. Green flag flies. Lap number 1 is 15. There's a little bit of contact in midfield, but right now everyone's rolling straight in towards 1 and 2 for the first time of 15.
Contact
got
in the
one car
back.
round up in the wall.
David Jones in the 00 just went around. I believe the caution is out. No, it's not. Just a
No,
one
we're still
car.
green.
Everyone's still going. So, of course, everyone tries to figure out.
Oh, we got
where to
another
go.
car, a bit of a stack up. This is the O2 machine at Terry Renner. Sorry, Gary, I thought this was going to be a bigger incident, but Terry smacked that wall.
See more contact coming out for number 4. There's 85-7-1 as well. Goodness, there's contact all over the place, as I believe everyone is just now getting slowed down. Yes, they are. And, oh man, well, that was an exciting first lap. Let's see about the other 14.
So, an entertaining first lap to say the least. A lot of contact. Lap 1 counted, so we are not going to be getting a field reset. So people maybe involved with that not going to be so happy, because you're going to end up going to the back if you were involved. And if you lost some positions, you're not going to be getting given that position for sure. But they should be getting everyone stacked back up. And another rule, Gary, that we've not seen just yet in this championship is that if you bring out 2 cautions in quick succession, race control will move to single file restarts. And I'm just going to say, I don't think I'm going to be too terribly surprised if I see that happen, because, well, that was a very physical start of this race from double file.
Yeah, of course, it caused a lot of, well, if you will, I'm unfortunately going to say this, carnage. I'm not sorry for that. And, of course, everyone's just trying to figure out where to get settled out right now. Some cars with damage. You'll see David Jones, who had absolutely nothing to do with that, but he did spin out one point. He has a little bit of right rear quarter damage, and of course that's going to affect his aero, no doubt. But as you can see right there on screen, that's something that's definitely going to hinder his momentum that he had. And of course the 85, his back end overall is just a little bit bent up, but nothing too major as the 00.
Might already be getting that single file signal here, as we have pretty much everyone out on the racetrack. Not sure. There's one driver who's still down along the inside. That's the 7 of Lindsey Hobbs, who I don't know if he's protesting about where he thinks he should be or what the deal is, but he's down on the low groove of the racetrack right now. So hopefully we'll get word, and be interesting to see if we end up going green here, if he's allowed to sit there. And I think he eventually gets a wave of the finger from race control and gets himself back up single file. Could have also just been cruising as they work themselves through 3 and 4. So single file early in this one. And the 17 car of Richard Stallings gets on the go pedal, single file restart, and they are green beginning lap number 2 now.
Nandi in the 02 and the 03, the 3 side by side. They're going to make contact 02 all the way up to the top side. And of course they make contact once again, but cruising behind the bottom is going to be that number 90, Raymond Chapman. But Terry Renner was in the outside wall coming out turn number 2. A lot of action going on around the track. 45 with David Galley on the inside of 31. Can't make it. No momentum as of yet. Everyone's single file as of right now. And while Scott Bellum not really getting the start that he wanted, he's falling all the way back. So is Hunter Poston with previous damage, but pulling away right now. That's way high on the racetrack. It's going to be the 52, but he keeps it straight. Goodness. Well, actually, side-by-side action. I believe David Jones just passed James Ray, and a lot of cars trying to jostle for position. Zachary Dresser on the inside of the 02 for a few moments, and nothing as of yet.
Richard Stallings continues to lead over DJ Kilanowski. Kyle Falk in the 52 was way up the racetrack in 1 and 2 just one lap ago. Didn't work out, and that's going to be a dangerous experiment for him, as he was allowed Stephen Taylor to reel him in, but I think we're under caution for an incident somewhere on the racetrack. 007 car, I believe it was, ended up facing the wrong way. This is the result of an incident with, well, the 01 machine of James Ray just flat out lost it all on his own.
Yeah, James Ray completely around a little bit early, as you see the replay on your screen right now. You can see that Vince right there, he's just going to come in, but you can see the 01 kill the cone, and of course slide way into the inside, and of course that's going to send Vince into the wall. Had nothing to do with that, just not really the correct long hanging into the corner, as you see Vince get going. An onboard shot right there, just can't really expect anything to do there, and well, once the 01 was there, there's nothing Vince could do.
So it looks like we're going to be going to a double file restart here as we're logging lap number 5, and I'm not sure what in the world they're doing, but people are trying to jump the start, and I think that's the reason we're getting cautions, Gary. People aren't being patient. I don't think there's any way we're going green there. 17 car never got the word. It's going to be 12 laps to go in this one, and a big stack up right there in the middle of the field. Everyone being a little bit too antsy.
Yeah, everyone's just a little bit too, what's what I'm looking for? A little bit too excited, a little bit too, there's somewhere I'm looking for. It's not excited, but if I think, I'll get back to that. David Jones still with that right rear quarter panel damage, and of course the 7 with some little bit, 7 of Lindsey Hobbs, a little bit of left side spoil damage. Richard Stallings should be getting the signal to go this time by. There he goes on the lap pedal. Everyone else is going to get going, and hopefully we have a little bit less jostling as everyone side by side here into corner number 1.
Let's see what happens to your midfield. Hopefully these guys can keep it clean as they're double filed through the center of the corners and off down the back straightaway. They're going to come roaring as the 17 of Richard Stallings is holding station over DJ Kilinowski.
Everyone practically 3 wide, I believe, for a split second, and we will be 45.02 and 31. Never mind, they almost made contact coming out through number 4 just a little bit. 45 of David Gallagher going to be to the inside of Terry Renner, but for 4th place actually. Nope, never mind. It looks like there's going to be a move, but the 90 actually is on the back bumper of the 3. No move as of yet, as he's going to head to the high side. Here comes Zachary Dressler to the inside, though, of Raymond Chapman. Coming out turn number 4, can't really get some momentum as the 45 and the 02 go side by side. Coming out turn number 4, nothing as well for those two. And everyone's actually 45 and the 02 could be heading to the high side. Sorry about that, Randy.
The 9 laps left to go here in this
contact
one.
In the back Stallings. Between the 7 and the 85, it looks like. Yes, it was. And just a little bit eager.
So Lindsey Hobbs damage again on that number 7 car. We saw that in his heat races, and well, he's got that front grille missing once again, and that peak antifreeze car maybe not as nice and not as clean as the 7 car would like.
Yeah, not really racing the way that you want to. Well, the usual thing is just race how you want to be raced. That's the usual saying. And of course, a little bit side-by-side action. No, 3 was looking to the inside of the 52. Nothing yet, as well. Kyle Falk is going to slide to the high side. Stephen Taylor to the inside. Nothing yet as well. Just trying to find that one line.
So down through the bottom of the racetrack goes Richard Stallings with the race leaders of Kilinowski, Falk, and Stephen Taylor. 7 laps to go currently on the board. They come across the stripe and in towards 1 and 2. They're going to come. DJ trying to do his best up top to hold on to it and maintain the gap to 3rd place runner Kyle Falk down the back straightaway once again and in towards 3 and 4. And Richard trying to maintain the gap that he has.
Yeah, DJ trying to, however, close that gap. Lap time comparison as of right now for me. 22.129 and 22.192 for your 1st and 2nd. We have a car on the outside wall. It's going to be Vince. I wonder what happened to him. Of course, no caution, I believe, as everyone's getting slowed down. There is a caution. Not sure what happened to him, but actually, yeah. So replay up on screen. This happened actually pretty much a lap ago, as you can see right there. Gonna slide into the corner, and well, it looks like the 11 just misjudged some distance, and that sent Vince around. So unfortunately, Vince is a victim of another thing that he just couldn't control, but luckily he does manage to keep it out of the wall. He does move to the high side, though, to make sure that everyone doesn't run into him. Smart move by Vince.
He was stopped up there for a while as the field was getting themselves running towards him, so because of that, race control calls the yellow. We're going to be going to green with 6 laps left on the docket, and this one is Richard. I mean, no one's really had anything for that 17 car, Gary.
Yeah, DJ was there, but he just can't find that momentum as of yet. Unfortunately for him, but DJ, hopefully he will be able to find something in these closing laps, as green's going to be coming out this time as they head through corners 3 and 4.
So through 3 and 4, they're going to come. Then getting ready to come down this back straightaway. Pace car, of course, virtual pace car is off, and Richard Stallings gets on that go pedal. Couple cars fanning out wide down this back straightaway. Bit of contact, car in the grass. 31 car is all the way down to the inside wall. They're going to be 3
More
wide.
contact in the front.
More
Huge
contact
crash.
up near the front.
Oh,
huge incident. This is going to catch a lot of cars. It's going to be impossible to predict or for us to go through and name off all the cars involved in this one. Obviously going back to yellow, and I think that's going to bring us back to a single file situation, as I don't think Race Control is going to be too happy to see what that double file restart just resulted in.
Yeah, you can see on the replay there the 3 of Steven Tyler diving in way too early. You can see everyone else in the back, however. And you can see the O2 getting involved there, as everyone's going to get involved. About 3, 4, 5, 6, just counting everyone getting involved. 7, 8, 9, about 9 cars involved. As well, it's just a huge pileup. I think the only one that actually did manage to make it through was maybe not. He does have a little bit of rear end damage. As there's the replay again. And you can see the 90 right now, the 01, the 31 who also lost it on the initial start, and well, the 11 actually does get some contact with the 02. Goodness gracious. I definitely wouldn't doubt having them go back to single file restarts, especially after this, because that was actually initially 3 wide looking at the replay.
Yeah, it was. So very, very physical for these guys, as it's going to be 6 laps to go on the docket, and really, it's just been, you know, the top 3 guys have been playing really nice with one another. All the drama has really been coming from the mid-pack on back, and that really surprises me.
Yeah, everyone just, I think, like you said, everyone is just too eager. Like, I believe you said that everyone does advance to the A main, so not sure why everyone is trying to, I mean, I get it, you want to get as many positions as possible, but sometimes a bit much is too much, especially what we've been seeing. The top 3, as you said, are luckily playing nice for now, but coming down in race time, I believe they'll be getting racy aggressive, but for now, as everyone's trying to figure out where to go, we're going to be here for a while, I believe.
Yeah, I think Race Control is trying to figure out where everyone was and get them in order for this restart, so we're probably going to spend a little bit of extra time under this caution. Of course, your top 3 are easy to predict. Those Stallings, Kilinowski, and Chapman. Those 3 have been out there pretty much since the drop of the green flag, and well, they've not been caught up or in anything or dropped many spots whatsoever. So because of that, they are continue to run as they run. Rest of the field, well, cars not only look like they're confused, but I'm sure the drivers are a little confused about where they should be as well. We're just trying to get everyone formed up, and I think we're nearing that point. We should have everyone set up and ready to go as David Jones comes out to the head of the field, well, of that little pack anyways, and I think we should be getting the field formed up and going green here the next couple times through.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting final 5 to 6 laps, as I'm looking at the right front of the 45, and well, he has absolutely no quarter panel now, so that's something just to be just a bit worried about. Not a lot. It's not really major much. Hopefully that doesn't affect him hang, as we believe we will be hanging green. I believe it looks like this time by.
Yeah, field's starting to get itself stacked up. Let's see if we do indeed go green. They're still shuffling some people in the background. The 01 machine, James Ray, I believe, getting told to give a position to the 11, and he has to get himself merged in. I don't think there's any way we're going green this time through, not with the field this unstacked up. Let's see what Race Control decides to make happen and what sort of orders they bark out. They ended up forming up pretty nice on the entry into 3, so maybe we will end up getting the go-ahead this time. They roll through 3 and 4, and on down the front straightaway they're going to come. Does Richard Stallings have the green light to get on the go pedal? Survey says no, so we were wrong.
Oh, no, Stallings just one move off.
Don't say that, otherwise we'll end up under this caution for even more. But still, 6 laps, and hopefully we can get there under green, because otherwise this is going to be a long 6 laps of us waiting.
And
around.
we already have contact a little bit under caution. People getting a bit too eager. Vince made a little bit of contact with Lindsay, just jumping too soon, trying to catch up, and just made a little bit of contact. So just a bit too eager.
Yeah, not really sure what happened. That actually was, I mean, Lindsay got into Terry first. I think there's just a little bit of a checkup in the middle of the field. But regardless, field is coming off of corner number 3 and 4. And I believe we're going to be getting the go-ahead, and indeed we are. 17 of Richard Stallings gets on that gas pedal, and we are back to green flag racing. It's 6 laps to go as they come across stripe, and now in towards 3 and 4. Let's see, or excuse me, in towards 1 and 2. Richard Stallings absolutely picture perfect down at the bottom.
Everyone jostling for position as per usual. Scott Bellum trying to find some type of momentum. He hasn't had it as of yet. Everyone's single file for the most part. Unless you're the A5 Hunter Prost, and then in that case you could be on the inside of the 45 with David Dillon trying to get as many positions as possible behind him. Also in the battle, but that sorts itself out as Hunter's going to get across that bump. And you look at the L2 of Terry Renner coming through the middle and get 3 wide just for a moment. Makes contact with the 45. He's going to send to the outside. Into the outside wall that he goes. Luckily doesn't collect anybody else. That could have been a lot worse.
4 laps to go. They come off corner number 4 in this B main from the USA International Speedway down into 1 and 2. Once again, David Guy into the background, as we just saw, getting pretty beat up back there in that 45 car. Through 1 and 2, they're going to come with 4 laps remaining. Richard Stallings has led pretty much the entire way in this B main through 3 and 4 and off towards the front straightaway. 3 laps left in this one. Richard, can he hold off DJ Kilinowski?
Question should be, can DJ Kilinowski do anything to pass Richard Stallings? He's going to be right on his back bump, looking to the outside, and a little bit of, no, actually they just use the same line. It looks a little pass for third between David Jones and Terry Renner. Terry Renner now in third, as while DJ Kilinowski trying to do whatever he can. 2 laps to go this time by.
2 to go, white flag in the air. Next time through, 17 of Richard Stallings still locked to that middle of the racetrack. You see the way he's running this. He's putting the front tires in the slick and ensuring that those rear tires are up in the good dirt. That's how you want to drive all of the dirt content we have on the sim pretty much. Never want to be driving down through the slick. White flag is in the air. 1 more lap to go. And can DJ make any move, have any momentum on this last circuit around the racetrack? Tries really hard, runs through the slick. Because of that, gets a big wiggle down there in 1 and 2. I don't think he's going to have any hope of reeling Richard through in towards the conclusion of this B main through 3 and 4 for the final time. And Richard's going to win the B main here and get himself a nice little bit ahead of steam as they run up towards the feature in this one tonight, Gary.
A bit of a battle, I believe. David Yellen got that, I believe, that 5th place position from Hunter Poston. Not 100% sure. Going to take a look back at that, but nonetheless, race is over, and now it's just Hunter trying to get some kind of a movement on the inside, actually coming out of that corner, and looks like everyone's lining up on the back straightaway, and I assume we'll be getting an interview with Richard Stallings if he is available.
We will be snagging Richard right here, right now. And Gary, you're stood by with that number 17 car.
Richard Stallings, you managed to hold off DJ Kilinowski, and well, especially through just a few cautions, of course, and you managed to keep that ahead, got those tires in the right place at the right time, and goodness, how was that car handling out for you today?
It's actually a little tricky out there right now. Trying to find the line, but right now it's handling pretty good.
And the way it seems that you have found it, but maybe not in time for the A main, of course. Any thoughts for DJ Kilinowski almost getting at least alongside you in those last few laps?
Yeah, I could see he was catching me in the relative, and I thought he was gonna get me there, but I was able to kind of try and find a little bit of a grip there on the outside coming off, and was able to hold him off.
They did an amazing job at that, and also winning the B main. Congratulations on your win tonight.
Thank you.
So that was Mr. Stallings here, winner of this B main. Hopefully he can carry that momentum into the feature, which we'll be bringing you here in a few minutes here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. And it's gonna be an interesting one, Gary, because that bottom groove hasn't dropped away the way I imagined or thought it was going to. So because of that, I think there's actually going to be a lot of drivers really trying to keep finding where that fast line is, because that bottom side is going to go away during this feature. I thought it'd already be killed off. We saw that happen in the sprint cars on Monday night. That bottom groove is basically dead, and people were up against the top of the wall when the feature event started, when we were at this stage of the race earlier in the week. But that hasn't happened here. So I think what we're going to see in this feature, we're going to see the top side get strong, and then eventually, if it stays green, we're going to see pretty much the entire part of the racetrack be dead, and people be really trying to find out where their cars are and aren't good.
Yeah, I imagine for the start of the race, everyone's going to be trying to get to that inside or at least the middle groove, trying to figure out what to do. Some people, like you said, imagine a few people maybe riding that high lane, that very high lane, at least above the middle groove, maybe even up against the top of the wall. But as far as I've seen, it hasn't really been too useful, if you will, as the B main results pop up on your screen right now. Richard Stallings, DJ Kalinowski, and Raymond Chapman are your top 3. David Jones and David Gallion round out your top 5. Hunter Poston, Scott Bellum, Kyle Falk, Lindsey Hobbs, and Vince Colbs round out your top 10. As the next page will be coming up in just a few moments, and of course the A main as well. It's gonna be an interesting 45 lap event because, oh goodness, we've seen this with 14 cars. Let's believe add 6 more cars.
Yep. Well, no, 6 more cars, 8 more cars because
8 more. Okay.
Yes. So, going to be a busy part of the racetrack. Now, as we said, in the feature event, the caution laps will count. 45 laps on the docket. So if people cannot keep it clean, you will see that iRacing safety truck come out. Also important to note, because of the way they use the iRacing service and they use the sessions in the league pools, we're going to have 7 pacing laps in order to get this grid set. First 2 laps will happen behind the iRacing safety truck. The next 5 laps will be what I generally call a green-yellow, where the race control has to manually get themselves setting the grid, and then we will be going to green after the conclusion of those 5 laps. So 45 laps in total on the docket will be spent racing here tonight, and it is going to be an exciting one, Gary. It's going to be impossible to predict because you have the likes of Nick Cooper, who is fast in the trophy dash and in his heat. You have Alex, who's been absolutely dominant, except in the trophy dash where he finished in that 3rd spot. Didn't quite have the speed to make up any moves, and a lot of race cars out there, some of which were struggling to run clean in that B main. I don't know if you're going to have enough green flag laps to even really move up through this field.
Yeah, this field, Randy, is really, how should I put this? Insanely large. Not really. I don't think there's any such thing as insanely large when it comes to dirt racing, though. But to me, I am definitely going to be intrigued and entertained by this. 24 cars, as you said, I believe. 22. Still going to be. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm just looking. Nothing as of yet. I'm not seeing anything.
So we're going to go down your starting grid here for your American Dirt Series late models. Greg Thompson and Travis Marsh starting out in front, with Alex Bergeron and Zach Leonardi on the 2nd row. Brandon Peterson and Nick Cooper, row 3, with Brad Dyer and Todd LeBeau, row 4, and Rich Stallings and DJ Kalinowski on row number 5. Ray Chapman and David Jones, row 6. Dave Gallion and Hunter Peston, row 7. Row 8, we're going to have Scott Bellum and Kyle Falk. Lindsey Hobbs and Vince Kulbis, row 9, with apparently C Main starting on row 10 with Terry Renner. And then that is going to round out this field. Pace truck rolls, and now it's just a waiting game. Everyone's going to be a little apprehensive here, Gary, as people are going to get really, really antsy.
Yeah, I think the thoughts of Richard Stallings are going to be racing right now, but not as much as Alex Bergeron, because he got that qualifying time with a 21.388 earlier tonight in that final heat. I believe it was the final heat. And you have to double check that. Nope, first heat. So, well, actually I should say qualifying, but he did dominate the first heat, so his thoughts are I'll be racing as well, trying to figure out what to do next, most likely watching where everyone else has been running their lines, and Bergeron's not, actually be starting 3rd place, so definitely going to be, his mind is definitely going to be racing as we only come to 1 more lap under the iRacing pace truck, and of course 4 more laps of, as we say, green-yellow.
5 more laps.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Gary can't math, but it's
Nope.
okay, as, like we said, pace truck will be coming in just a moment, and then you'll be seeing all the cars shuffling themselves about. So if you're used to just the iRacing official sessions, like we said, it's going to be a little bit different from what you might normally expect to see here. So, but that is going to be an okie dokie artichokey thing, as field is going to be getting themselves set for 45 laps of action. That's really the big thing, Gary. 45 laps. Longest race we've seen up until now has been 15. So you're talking about that times 3. Going to be a lot of time spent on track for these guys.
Yeah, the inside line definitely going to be playing into effect as the iRacing pace truck is going to turn down. We are not green just yet, green-yellow. Now begins the final laps of green-yellow. I can correctly math now. And now comes the time of everyone going to be lining up where they're supposed to be.
So as everyone comes across the stripe, you're going to see those inside and outside cars separate, and all the race leaders are going to cycle their way through, and they're going to be the ones starting out front. A couple of drivers going to be really brave, sliding their cars through the middle like that. Greg Thompson really getting aggressive on that throttle pedal down there as you get everyone else coming through up front as well. Now everyone's going to roll through off towards corners number 3 and 4, the end of lap, green-yellow lap number 1. Coming to the second of 5. Gary, who's your pick? Greg starting out front. Alex has been the quickest, generally speaking. That 35 of Nick Cooper was fantabulous in his heat and in the trophy dash. Who's your pick?
I'm going to have you go first this time. I figure it's only fair.
You're going to have me go first.
Yep.
So that's an interesting change. I'm going to say that Bergeron will win both the opening rounds here at USA. Alex will win the sprint cars and in the late models.
That's actually really interesting. I'm going to go with... Ooh, who should I go with? And it's not less complicated. Out of 20 drivers, I'm going to have to go with at least Thompson getting a top 5.
So I ask him who's going to win, and you say you're going to go with Thompson at least getting a top 5. Who's going to win the race?
Thompson.
Okay, he says Thompson's going to win the race. I had to waterboard him to get it out of him, but he thinks Thompson is going to win this race. As they're now coming to the end of lap number 2, so 3 of 5 under green-yellow as they just get everyone else sorted in the mid-pack. Alex Bergeron looking a little bit antsy, wanting this race to go, go, go. That's something that I know from Alex is the way he likes to run. He likes to just put pedal to the metal immediately. Doesn't like all this waiting around. So my pick starts third. Gary's pick starts on pole. Gary, who's going to, at the end of this one, who are we going to see pick up the most spots once we get to the end of the show?
All right, there's something I can actually say. Nick, even though he didn't really get a... is he even doing this? Oh, goodness, I don't know. Well, I'm going to go with at least, maybe, I'm going to go with Richard Stallings. He did dominate that B main race, so I'm going to go with Stallings at least picking up more spots because he did manage to hold off DJ, who's actually starting right beside him.
Indeed, as they roll themselves through the back half of the racetrack once again. Of course, corner number 4, or excuse me, off towards the front straightaway. So lap number 4 of 5 beginning now, and this is where it has to get serious mode for these drivers. Everything is going to be on the line, and you want to put out a very good show for the CMF Motors Electric American Dirt Series Super Late Model Championship. And of course, thanks as well to Southern Indiana Lawn Care for putting on this championship. And I guess one more bit of trivia, Gary, before we start picking up the hype, picking up the ante as we get the 1 to go signal at the starters stand here in just a couple moments. Will they be clean through the first lap?
No, just nope.
Just no, absolutely no hope whatsoever from my second chair as they're going to roll themselves through 3 and 4. And so I guess in order to add on to that, because you'd think they're going to go to caution very, very quickly, where's the caution going to fly?
Oh, come on. Okay. Can I choose, like, between, like...
You can choose anything. I asked you the question. You can choose anything.
Oh, my goodness. All right, I'm going to go with at least the middle of turns 1 and 2.
Okay, so he says between the middle of corners number 1 and 2. But regardless, for Greg Thompson, he gets a fantastic opportunity. He got given it due to the invert from the trophy dash, was able to hold on to that race lead, and he is rewarded with the pole position for the feature event. They roll themselves down the back straightaway under green-yellow for the final time and in towards corners number 3 and 4. iRacing virtual safety truck. It's not out there anymore, but if it were, it would be coming down on towards pit road right now. 313 machine of Greg Thompson in command of the field, and he goes to corners number 3 and 4. Green flag flies, 45 laps on the board, and we are clean down the front straightaway. Let's see if we're going to be clean through 1 and 2. Bit of contact in the background, car around, and Gary, you were right.
Actually, starting turn 1, I believe. I know Richard Stallings is involved, so there goes that pick from earlier. As well, this is pretty similar to what happened earlier. So we're going to have a replay. It did start, I believe, around the 17. And actually, no, it started with the 52. Actually, it started ahead of the 52, yes. 17, Richard Stallings did make a little bit of contact with that number 56. Actually, no, 56 had nothing to do with it. The 45 of David Gallion got himself turned and just dived in a little bit too early, as you're going to see that in just a few moments. And on-board shot from the 56 as there's a 7 right in front of him. Luckily, just barely managed to make his way free. And, well, unfortunately, actually, that was the wrong car. That was 52, I should say, who just had nowhere to go and just ended up getting himself a door side of the 17.
For 45 and David Gallion, I'm going to have to say just a little too over-aggressive in towards 1 and 2 on that one. Didn't scrub nearly as much speed as he would have needed to. I think an incident would have happened regardless. He put 2 tires up and over the grass, and I think if he didn't hit the 17 of Richard, I think he would have been dooring the, I believe it's the 15 car of DJ Kilinowski up to his outside. So that's where I'm going to have to sort of lay blame. You always have to expect the big stack up happening on the opening of these big events. So let's see what race control decides to do. Lights are still on the safety truck, so drivers have not gotten the single or double file signal just yet that you get from the sim, but race control can and will, if they so choose, override that and force these drivers to go single file, and let's see if they choose to do so, because it should be 1 to go this time.
Tension mounting as the pace truck slowly approaches the start-finish line, or should I say the where the start-finish line would be, is replaced by a timing beam. Lights are still, nope, they go out. Everyone stays single file, so there's your answer, Randy.
So Cody obviously not overly optimistic with this situation after seeing what just happened on the run into 1 and 2. Doesn't think they're going to be able to keep it off of each other when they go back to green flag racing this time through. So single file on the restart. Alex Bergeron ended up picking up that 2nd spot over Travis Marsh. So Travis isn't going to be overly excited about that, but Alex will be saying thank you very much as field rolls themselves into corners number 3 and 4. iRacing safety truck lights out. We'll be bringing him back to green flag racing. 40 laps still on the board, and Greg Thompson, when will he go? It's been just on the exit of corner number 4 all night, and once again pretty much the same spot. We are back to green flag racing with 41 laps to go. Bergeron trying to keep tabs with that 313 machine. He looks at the ultra low line and he seems to have some decent pace down there.
Exactly. Nardi also going to that lane trying to get by Travis Marsh. Caution once again. I believe it involves the number 7 of Lindsey Hobbs all over. Yes, it does. In the middle of turns 1 and 2 once again. 0 comes into the corner and straightens out a bit too early and collects the 7, and goodness, the 90 and the 02 get the worst of that as well.
Not sure what happened to the 7 of Lindsey Hobbs. I think just a little bit too much in the slick was Lindsey, and because of that, he had to lift way out of the throttle, and like you said, that sent him around in the 000 of David Jones, who was unfortunately the 14th person in line for his name, ended up getting into that 7 car and sending him around, and like you said, a couple drivers caught the worst of that one. Somewhat luckily for these guys, it wasn't a very hard hit for this caution, Gary. So even though a couple people got quote-unquote the worst of it, I don't think anyone really got drilled to the point that would have killed the car.
True, the worst of it to the extent of the incident, I should say, of course. To the worst of the car, I will remember to actually add that in if it does look extremely terrible.
That is true. That is true, as pace truck's going to be rolling, and well, you can't go from anything less aggressive than a single file restart. So unless race control has sorted out how to divide by 0, we're going to be going back to a single file restart once again, and hopefully these guys can keep it clean. The sprint cars put on a fantastic show on Monday, and if these guys can't keep it off themselves, they'll be letting the sprint car guys sort of win. And that's not anything you ever want to let happen here, Gary. There's always sort of that intermittent rivalry between the open wheel drivers as well as the closed wheel drivers, the more stock car style guys. And you know that you get the second opportunity at the racetrack and the lights go out. You know these late model guys want to put on the good show. Hopefully they get the chance.
Yeah, they want to put a good show, and of course also rub it in the face of the open wheelers, saying, hey, guess what you didn't do this week? And I'm pretty sure somebody would be saying that to Alex Bergeron, but of course he's in 2nd right now. I'm not sure if Greg Thompson was in one of the open wheel races or not, but nonetheless, he's going to be in the lead. Bergeron 2nd, Travis Marsh is starting 3rd.
So down the back straight here for the final time under this caution, and then iRacing safety truck will be making its way back down on towards pit road, and Greg Thompson going to be picking up the gas pedal, I think, in 4, 3, 2, 1, now, as he gets on that throttle, and I am a psychic as he come across the timing being coming to lap number 9 in this feature event through 1 and 2. 313 slides through the slick a little bit and ends up on the high side of the racetrack. Alex able to close up just a little bit, but we're through turns 1 and 2 clean for the first time in towards 3 and 4. Let's see what this end of the racetrack is like, as Alex is really hogging that low side of the racetrack, putting that left front up on the dirt in 3 and 4.
Zach Leonardi made that move, passing Travis Marsh off of pretty much in that first corner just a lap ago, and now Travis Marsh on the grass. He's going to be looking into the back bumper of Alex Bergeron, looking to the inside. Maybe nothing as of yet, as Bergeron is going to be taking that inside line, as you said, and Greg Thompson just enjoying his time up on the higher groove, more than usual. 24 going to be making his move. It looks like into this corner, nothing yet. Bergeron still just hogging that inside lane, as you said. And well, Zach Leonardi is going to go all the way down to the low side, as he can't get any momentum yet.
Struggling for momentum as Greg Thompson continues to lead the way. Alex Bergeron runs through the slippery stuff and gets up the racetrack, but he's got enough of a buffer from that 24, Zach Leonardi, to be able to hold on. A lot of big breakaways up and down this field. David Jones in the background, a lot of damage fighting with Terry Renner as they work themselves through 1 and 2. This is the fight for the tail of the top 10. Terry Renner trying to break into it, as they're also side by side behind. That's between Richard Stallings and Ray Chapman. Richard just picked that spot up through 1 and 2 on the 90.
Amazing pass and amazing timing, as well as the 15 is all over the back bumper. The 56 right now, nothing yet. As you can see the replay for that pass right now on your screen. Everyone's still relatively single file. Zach Leonardi has dropped back just a little bit from his distance. Caution is out on the racing surface, and that's going to be involving number 45 with David Gallion.
Ray Chapman is still on the racetrack as well. Not sure he barely squeaked by, but it was David Gallion up top, and just sort of made the mistake all on his own. Just drove that car aggressive in towards 1 and 2 and got a lot of slip angle on that, and ended up getting into the wall and setting himself around, getting big contact with the 52 machine of Kyle Falk, as well as the 94 of Todd LeBoux getting involved in that one. So big incident there on the top side of 1 and 2.
That's pretty much just a chain reaction incident right there, as the 52 got hit in the passenger side, and the 94 had also got hit in the passenger side. They both had nothing to do with it as well, but unfortunately they both have damage and a lot to fix, but also a lot of damage to deal with as well. Possibly steering damage as well, maybe not, but the smallest things can also affect your car to the biggest extent as well.
So, going to be 30 laps from the end when they come across the timing beam this next time through. Interesting to see when we get the 1 to go signal. And what do you think, Gary? Do you think Race Control is going to be confident enough to run them out there double file? I don't know if I would be.
Honestly, if I was Race Control, I just let them restart single file, because even though it was only one incident from double file, I feel like single file would be the best bet, just to not have a lot of drivers get caught up in accidents over and over again. And it actually looks like they'd be going double file.
Cody has more faith than you. Cody has more faith than
Yep.
we do. That's definitely the situation. But it's all right. We've lost a couple of cars here at the back of the field, so maybe he thinks the field's been thinned down enough that we can roll it. Todd LeBoux is hilariously trying to find his pit box on pit lane, as let's just say that he's going backwards down there. But field getting reset, and we'll be going back to green flag racing with 30 laps to go. It's going to be 29 when they get to the stripe, Gary.
And he's still trying to find it, and I think he's trying to find that right spot, and he's just given up and driven away now. So, unfortunately for Tyler, he couldn't find his pit box. Apparently, he didn't get the memo. His pit sign guys don't know where to go, apparently. But nonetheless, rolling down, giving the pace truck a lot of distance. I guess I don't want to risk the pace truck of getting damaged, because they probably will need that. Going through corners 3 and 4. Greg Thompson and Alex Bergeron as the pace truck moves off the track. There goes Greg Thompson on the lapel. Green flag is back out once again.
Green flag fly. The Greg Thompson immediately jumps out to that race lead. Alex able to take the second spot away from Zach Leonardi. Zach tried to maintain a bit of an overlap, throws it down to the inside along the bottom side and down the back straightaway for Alex Bergeron. Cars around. Yep, cars around indeed. Couple cars, the number 85, the number 7, as well as the
45.
52. Cody Olson gambled with the double file restart and he lost. So that is unfortunate. And that one we get an immediate caution flag in this one, as This ended up being one of those feature events you never like to see, Gary, where everyone just gets too aggressive and can't keep it off of each other.
Yeah, amazing shot review here on the replay. You're going to be able to see what exactly happened if 85 just gets a little bit of contact, and then, of course, everyone just gets involved. Unfortunately, around the 45, you can see caught up with the 52 and the 11 also involved. Remember what I said about many cars getting involved from double file restarts? Well, there it is.
Yeah, that's a bit of a rip right there. It's the really pretty much the high-end race spot analysis there. Still 25 laps to go, or 26 laps to go, excuse me, on the docket. No, 27 laps to go, as we still have right here, right now. And Alex, you can tell that 12 machine wants to race, because all these laps under caution, he's just basically throwing this car around, just wanting to go.
Yeah, he's a little bit eager of wanting to get this race over with, underway, and just keep it that way as well, under greed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's really eager. He really wants that lead, you can tell.
Yeah, you tell he's going to be very, very happy about that. Still rolling around under yellow here, and we haven't gotten the one to go signal just yet. We should be getting it right here, right now, though, as they come off corner number 4. So let's see if the lights on that iRacing safety truck decide to come off. And out they go. So back to green here in 3/4 of a mile, Gary.
Everyone lining up single file once again. So looks like he's learned from that unfortunate mistake that he's made. Looks like Todd has finally found his pit box as well, and totally unrelated news, but on the bright side, he's found it, and now his pit guys know where he is. I believe he is trying to fix as much damage as possible. He has left his pit stall, leaving right now, actually, working his way to the exit. Of course, once again, giving that pace truck a lot of space, and you can see Bergeron and a few others mainly Bergeron, just throwing that car around, really eager to get this race back underway.
So going to be 26 laps left in this 45 lap feature, so just a couple off half distance through corners number 3 and 4, and Alex tries to jump the start. Alex trying to jump the start. We've seen that from him in the past from a World Outlaw broadcast. Green flag back in the air, though, is Alex going to pay the price. Give a little bit of gap to the 313, but Alex is confident down in the slick and has that car stuck to the bottom, off corner number 2 and down the back straightaway and in towards 3 and 4. Let's see if Alex can make a move down there as caution flies again.
And more contact just after the caution fly as well.
So an incident and then a secondary incident. This was Scott Ballium on the top side of the racetrack, and well, he just got tagged from, I believe that was the O2 machine. O2 was involved. That's Terry Runner. He was involved in the last incident as well, and not sure what happened. Terry just kind of drove into the 11. The 11 was really struggling out there, though. A lot of damage on that race car.
Yeah, I guess Terry didn't expect the 11 to be up there in the racing line, but then the secondary incident was between the 2 and the 35 heading into turn 3 just after the caution came out. It's not a method of checking up, it was just a method of the 35 being a bit too sideways, and of course everyone did stack up. Replay on your screen right now. It should be coming to you shortly. I believe not actually, but of course people just getting involved, and it's not really the fault of the 35. There's the replay right there. When the caution comes out right about here. Help? Yeah, he did. He got help from the 2, got clipped, and then everyone else just piled in, unfortunately.
Yeah, so Nick Cooper going into 3 and 4, he was pretty much perfect all on his own. Some of that 2 car of Travis Marsh is the one who got into him. I'm not sure if that incident technically brought out the caution. That was a much lighter contact overall. A couple drivers ended up getting sent around. 85 of Hunter Poston ended up facing the wrong way. So regardless for these guys, patience, a virtue not being shown by many right now, and Gary, and that's unfortunate considering how awesome and how clean the racing was through the heats and really up until that B main.
I want to say it's the massive cars, but maybe it's just the awareness as a pace truck crosses the line, lights are out, still staying single file, and your top 3 relatively, well, top 2 definitely the same. Zach Leonardi there in 2nd, Nick Cooper 4th, Zach Leonardi 3rd, Nick Cooper 4th, Travis Marsh 5th.
So it's going to be 21 laps to go when they get to that start-finish line. Nick Cooper able to retake that 4th spot just ahead of Travis Marsh. The caution flew before that incident, so because of that field was locked. So as they run themselves down this back straightaway and in towards 3 and 4, we're going to hope that everyone can play nice with one another, and we can bring you the last 20 some odd laps of this event under green flag conditions. First half hasn't really delivered, but hopefully the second half does. Alex not quite so antsy on the prediction pedal this time. Green flag fly, and Greg holds the race lead into 1 and 2.
Travis Marsh already diving into the inside, and well, there goes Alex Bergeron also to the inside, but Travis Marsh with a little bit of side-by-side from the 35, Nick Cooper, nothing yet as the 35 gets an amazing run coming out of turn number 2. Alex Bergeron also diving to the inside, right up against the wall, and caution is out once again with Lindsey Hobbs spinning out on the back straightaway.
So the 7 of Lindsey Hobbs, what actually happened? It wasn't Lindsey's fault. The 85 of Hunter Poston was sort of the actual cause of this, and well, the 85 just basically drove up into the wall. The 7, Lindsey, tried his best to take some avoiding action, and fortunately hooked himself on the 15 car. Really not much Lindsey could do there.
Not much any of those three could do, actually, especially DJ there, because he was just running his own line, and then he was Lindsey down into DJ. Just no method of warning whatsoever. You can see an onboard shot right here. Just running his line, next thing you know, right across. There goes the 7, and well, I can't really expect anything else but that.
It's been a pretty long 45 lap event for these late models so far. We've been green for 25 minutes. Now, granted, some of that would have been spent under that green-yellow. About 4 or 5 of that would have been spent under that green-yellow. But still, 17 minutes to be only about just over halfway into an event like this, Gary. This just shows how slow the running's been going thus far.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. Everyone probably just a little bit eager to get this going and try to get their spot as best they can. And, well, now that's... Again, the top 3 is still the same. So is Nick Cooper, Travis Marsh. Everyone's relatively still the same, as most of these accidents have actually been happening in the back. But I'm looking at DJ. His back bumper is relatively solid.
Yeah, the only incident I can think of that's happened out front was that incident between the 2 and the 35 when Travis got in a nick. And that was even an incident where none of the leaders really got damaged. It was just, I think it was Nick just got sent around and pretty much just took his spot back. So even though, like you said, most of the cautions, most of the big impacts coming from the back half of the field, as lights are out on the iRacing safety truck. So we will be back to green this time with 17 laps remaining in this event as they roll themselves down this back straightaway. And Greg Thompson will be bringing us back to green here in just a moment. So, safety truck through 3 and 4, and Greg taking that top groove because that's where all the dirt is. We have not used up any of this racetrack at all through this feature event. Let's see if we finally can. Second and third place, both try to jump it. They're not going to pay off because of that. But let's see. Greg Thompson's going to lead in towards 1 and 2, and everyone
contact in the back, 0-0 round.
0-0 is around. That's
no caution.
Slow in the grass. No caution just yet. That's David Jones down low. He's going to try to take it off the racing surface and get that car back down to the safety of pit road, and he does so, but fight is on for third between Leonardi and Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper trying to get that low line to work as best to his advantage. Look at Bergeron, though. He's going to hop that little hill that is down in the grass at the low side. Cooper trying to get whatever he can to Leonardi, but Leonardi also falling, but Cooper's got to worry about Travis Marsh on that high side. Well, now on the high side. And here comes Leonardi for that second place position as Bergeron's trying to battle for Thompson for that first place position. Everyone is trying to get whatever position they can.
Everyone's still fighting here. Alex, you see him running aggressively through the inside of the racetrack where the good dirt is slowly going away. Off towards the back straightaway once again. Greg Thompson holds this race lead. You see again, Alex all the way down to the bottom. Actually clips that inside wall just a little bit. But he seems confident right now, Gary, running through that inside line. We don't see anyone else running the bottom like that.
Yeah, everyone's probably just a little bit too anxious on trying to run that line free, and then they'll clip the inside wall. But nonetheless, Bergeron is running that great. There's a huge battle in the back, some contact between the 56 and the 83 coming out of turn number 2. A little bit wheel to wheel. Everything is fine as of now. The 83 comes out on top of that. Here comes Brad down to the inside in that 56. Look at 17, Richard Stallings. He's going to try and make it 3 wide. It's not going to happen, though. They fall back single file.
So they get themselves all line and stern through corners number 1 and 2. 56 on the bottom, working on Brandon Peterson. Not quite able to have the grip down there, though, just yet, as Greg Thompson has done a good job to stretch the margin over the 12 of Alex Bergeron. Alex still aggressively running the slick. We have a couple other cars running the bottom of the likes of Nick Cooper and Zach Leonardi, but they're running it so much differently from the way Alex is, because Alex is almost like slide jobbing the racetrack, because he's just throwing it aggressively into 1 and 3, then sliding up to the exit of 4 to the good dirt, whereas everyone else is pretty much just keeping that car down along the bottom of the racetrack and being patient with it down there, whereas Alex is just using that momentum to get to the good dirt up top.
Look at Greg Thompson, though. He's casually riding that line, slowly sliding up into his line as well. But here comes Zach Leonardi to the inside of Bergeron. He's got a nose under him, about half a car length right now. Quarter panel, he's going to back off. He's going to try once again heading into turn number 3. Nothing yet as Bergeron, actually, it doesn't look like he does a slide job move this time. And now 10 laps to go this time by.
10 to go on the docket for the 313 of Greg Thompson. Can he hold on to this race lead? You see him slowly moving further and further up the racetrack. Alex being more patient down along the bottom, not sliding himself up top. I think he sees Zach Leonardi and doesn't want to open that door. Zach looks to the top side though through 3 and 4. And as we come to 9 laps to go, the fight for the race lead is so close amongst this top 5.
Alex Bergeron still trying to get that one line. He's going to stay to the inside, though. He's going to get alongside the 313 Thompson. Thompson gets that run, though, out corner number 2 and still can't get anything done as Travis Marsh has pulled away from Nick Cooper. And Bergeron is just trying, as you can see, 24 practically right on top of that inside line wall. He's going to probably be making the move to the inside. A little bit of contact with the outside wall coming out of turn number 4. Here comes Zach Leonardi to the inside, making contact with Bergeron. Bergeron's going to get that momentum lost. And now here comes Leonardi to get that second place position. That line that Alex Bergeron was making may have already costed him. Here comes Nick Cooper to try and pick up the bits.
24 car may come to regret that, as Alex is one of the most aggressive drivers on the dirt oval side of the racing in the sim. Nick Cooper looks at the top side in the 35 and not going to have anything doing just yet compared to Bergeron, as Greg Thompson has enjoyed the bit of aggressiveness coming from his rearview mirror from the driver behind. Has given him a big advantage. Shouldn't have any issues with lap traffic through to the end of this one. It's going to be 6 laps to go here on the docket as Travis Marsh is trying to get to the 35, and Nick Cooper going to be able to maybe tap the rear end, but nothing going just yet as Bergeron is trying to reel that gap in back to Leonardi, who's slowly reeling in the gap to the race leader, Greg Thompson, and bringing that margin down.
Travis Marsh had that momentum for the 35, but nothing as of yet. But here comes Zach Leonardi. Leonardi already on the back bumper, could be making a move to the inside of turn number 1. He looks to the inside right now. You can see Alex Bergeron as well, side by side with a 313 to 24. Still nothing yet. But you can see Zach Leonardi is a little bit more stable with his line. I'm not saying Alex Bergeron isn't. Alex Bergeron is just trying, like you said, a little bit of a slide job line. It works for him, but right now Zach Leonardi is just on the better line. 5 laps to go this time by.
So 4 laps remaining in this one as they work themselves off corner number 2. Greg Thompson almost gave up that race lead a lap or so ago, and let's see, is that 24 going to work the bottom? Zach looks to the inside, going to pull alongside the 313 of Greg Thompson off corner number 4. A little bit of contact through on the inside wall for the 24, and that's going to hurt him just a little bit. 3 laps remaining in this one.
Still don't know how to math, apparently, but nonetheless, Zach Leonardi doesn't just always wants to be out front. He wants to be out front. At that final lap here he comes to the inside. Nope, nothing yet. 313 slides a little bit higher. Thompson trying to get whatever he can, and so can Alex Bergeron. Side by side a little bit. They're going to make a little bit of contact coming out of turn number 4 into turn number 1. Zach Leonardi just still can't get that one line that Zach Thompson is running.
5.5 left in this one for Greg Thompson as he leads them in towards 3 and 4. 24 Leonardi wants the inside, aggressively gets a little bit too loose, and he's going to give up a little bit of ground. White flag waving from the starter stand for Greg Thompson as he comes across the stripe in towards 1 and 2 for the final time. Going to try to cut off the inside. Leonardi needs to be careful with how he tries to attack the race lead for Greg Thompson. Down the back straightaway for the final time in towards corners number 3 and 4 for Greg Thompson. Looking down low, can Zach Leonardi get the drive off the corner? No, he cannot. And Greg Thompson is going to win the opening round of the American Dirt Series Super Late Model Series here at USA International Speedway.
That was an amazing job by Thompson to hold off Zach Leonardi as the fireworks go off of the track, coming out of turn number 3, obviously. And it's going to be an amazing night for Greg Thompson, an amazing celebration for him, as he's going to, I believe, he's going to do some, he's actually going to slide job into 3 and 4 right now. Maybe some donuts if that's even possible in these, but of course, Alex Bergeron finishing in third after an impressive run, mainly in second place.
So Alex is going to come through on the front straightaway. A lot of people following him through on the front straightaway. He's going to pull into what I called on Monday, the USA International Victory Pimple here at the starting stripe. But with that, let's go down to your post-race results live here from USA International Speedway. So the number 313 held on in the feature event and took the win here in the CMF Motors Electric event tonight in the American Dirt Series live from USA International Speedway. Zach Leonardi was in second, a late sign up to the championship. He put on a show. Alex Bergeron, quickest in qualifying, fantastic in this heat race, was not able to hold on. He finishes third in this one. Nick Cooper didn't put in a qualifying time, went from the back to the front in his heat race. He finishes fourth with Travis Marsh rounding out the top five. Brandon Peterson in sixth, Richard Stalling seventh, Brad Dyer eighth, Hunter Poston ninth, and DJ Kalinowski rounds out the top 10. Terry Runner in 11th, Scott Belliam in 12th, Lindsey Hobbs 13th, Todd LeBeau 14th, David Jones 15th, Dave Gallion in 16th, Kyle Falk in 17th, and Ray Chapman will round out the 18-car field in this one tonight. We're going to take a short break and step away here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live, and then bring you post-race results from the American Dirt Series season opener for the Super Late Models Live from USA. Don't go away. Welcome back here to RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live as coverage continues from the American Dirt Series here from USA International Speedway. Post-race coverage as Mr. Greg Thompson was phenomenal tonight. We were stood trackside with that 313. Greg, I don't want to say you didn't sound confident when we talked to you after the trophy dash and after that win. You didn't sound overconfident. You sounded maybe hesitant is maybe the best way to maybe put it, but you managed to hold on. Help from the cautions early, definitely. That took a lot of the time that you had to defend from the charging drivers behind, but regardless, you take the big win tonight. How's it feel?
Feels great, man. I knew I had to be smooth and consistent, had some good guys starting behind me, but got it done.
Now, talking about this racetrack, we saw some interesting racing lines develop. There wasn't really enough green flag racing to kill the bottom completely, as there were a lot of cars still racing down there. But we saw people approaching it differently. There were most people, especially about the midpoint of the race when we started that last big green flag run to the end, running the middle of the racetrack. You had a handful of other drivers also basically just keeping it down to the bottom, being patient. But interestingly enough, Alex, who was behind you for a while, sort of was being aggressive on the bottom with the way he was entering and then sliding up to basically the line that you were running. How variable was that racetrack in terms of the sort of lines you could run as you got near the end of that long green flag run?
Well, at the start, it felt like I could throw it in, to the low on entry or high on entry, and it was fast coming out on the top regardless. But then I seen whatever car was behind me there at the very end was either better on the throttle than me, or I'm not sure what, but was definitely creeping up on me down there and on the middle. And so I just had to get down there and block his line. I believe he was a little faster though.
Eldora next week, Greg, are we going to see you back in that number 313 machine on Thursday? And are you going to join us on the Monday night 360 races as well?
I won't be in the 360s, but I'll be in the supers following this whole series here.
Well, we look forward to seeing that 313 car run strong next week when we go to Eldora. Before we let you go, Greg, any shout-outs? Who would you like to thank?
Just thanks to you guys for putting it on, and I enjoyed the show. Appreciate it.
We enjoyed putting it on, my friend. Good luck to you, like I said, in a week. That 313, I think, is going to be a contender all year.
Yep, thanks. And I also want to say thanks to Anthony Miller on the skin, on the car skin.
Huge shout-outs to Anthony for sure. But as we move down the order, Gary, you're stood by with second-place finisher Zach Leonardi, who he looked strong towards the end of this main event as well.
Zach Leonardi, you've managed to finish in second after staying in third for a relatively the entire race, but you did get a move on Alex Bergeron in those closing laps, and it was definitely amazing watching you battle with him.
Yeah, I felt like I had the best car, but I kind of shot myself in the foot early in the night. I didn't do any practice on the setup or nothing, so I had to kind of go out there cold turkey on that setup for qualifying and just kind of got behind all night. But I knew it'd be coming to me when it got slicked off. I know that racetrack's so hard to pass on, and I had a little contact with Alex trying to pass him, and that wasn't intentional or nothing. I apologized to him for it, and I knew I got behind Greg. I thought I was a little better than him, but I knew the only way I was going to get by him if he didn't mess up was to run through him, and I didn't want to do that. So I had to settle for second, but good points tonight, so I guess I'll probably try to follow this series and see what we can get out of it.
Well, it definitely looked like it came to you definitely in the race, as I believe Hugo has gotten the pass between you and the 12 up, but nonetheless, how's that track out for you today? Because that was, you thought the inside line was going to be killed, but surprisingly the inside line actually did manage to stay throughout the entire race.
Well, I mean, I like the track a lot, and this is probably one of the better races I've had in the slick on it. It's just, I don't know, these late models don't really hook up like they need to when you get in that brown to make that top work like it needs to. That bottom was really, I think, the fastest line. It was just I didn't want to use it up early on or show my hand. It was just when you get under somebody, you can't track out to the fence. It kind of kills you up off. But that's probably the more racy racetrack I've seen out of USA. It's just they need to do something to it to make it a little bit widen out a little bit more.
That was really interesting. We did see you make contact with the inside wall a few times in 3 and 4. So I was running through your head at that time if you knew you actually made contact with the wall.
Well, I mean, I just know if you could see the track real close, I mean, there was just one little small patch of brown down there to get traction off of, so you had to be hugging it, and whenever you hit it, it kind of ruins your exit, but, I mean, I still thought it was probably better than the top unless you killed it. But I knew when I was getting up under Greg there a little bit, and I was making a little bit of time up on him, and then when I hit that berm with like 2 to go, I knew it was probably over then. But, I mean, all in all, it was a good race, and it was pretty fun.
It was fun for us indeed. Before we let you go, any shout-outs that you'd like to have, any shout-outs that you'd like to mention for your second place finish tonight?
I'll just give a plug to my iRacing design business, Leonhardi Race Designs. You can send me an email or a PM if you need a rep done.
Well, congratulations on your second place finish, and one more question actually. Eldora next week. What's going through your mind already?
I can't wait, honestly. I mean, I'm not being cocky or nothing because Alex is really top notch. I haven't raced with Greg a whole lot, but he did really good tonight too. But I feel like I'm one of the better guys on fixed setups and this dirt stuff, and I think Eldora is probably going to be next to probably Lanier on the most racy track that we have. So I think it'll be a lot of passing and a lot of guys coming from the back to the front to the back. So I'm excited for it, and probably hope to get a little bit of practice next week and see if I can get the dub there.
Well, hopefully you do that, but for now, tonight, you did manage to finish in second. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, from that, we will move on to third place finisher to round out the interviews tonight. Stood by with Mr. Alex Bergeron, pole sitter, and someone who I thought was going to be dominant through the evening, but seemed like as that track slickened up, Alex lost that little bit of an edge he had. And Alex, would you agree with that? Seemed like the pill draw didn't go your way and didn't quite show the dominant speed in the trophy dash you did in the heat race and in qualifying. And is that how it felt to you?
Not really. Actually, I was faster, but I got into the slick, did a mistake, and it's very tough to pass on this track actually. So you gotta be very patient, and did a mistake there, and got to travel up the track a little bit, and that's racing, but we were faster, and we had a fastest lap of the race, I think, and yeah, we did. So just good racing third is actually pretty good, so I'm happy with that, and the track was very good, but it's very tough to pass. So yeah.
So we lost a lot of our potential green flag laps due to all the cautions at the start of the race. Do you think that you would have had a little bit more of an opportunity if that track would have gotten a little bit more slickened up down, especially around the bottom? Because you seemed really comfortable running through the slick, running the line you were, kind of driving through it and then getting up to the good dirt in the middle of the racetrack.
Yeah, definitely the caution didn't help us either. It's just that's part of it though, but hopefully next time we're gonna have bigger long runs.
Well, I'm sure we're going to see you tomorrow night for Friday Night Dirt Night, but you won on Monday night in the 360s. I'm sure we're going to see you in both these cars and the sprint cars at Eldora, both on Monday and Thursday next week, right?
Yeah, hopefully I'll be there.
So a lot of that VLR drill spill machine coming at you over the next week as he's running, well, pretty much, let's see, what is that? That's going to be 5 nights. Every 9 days is going to be the average. So Alex pretty much hogging all of the race spot airtime, and Lord knows if he might not show up into something else at a time or two as well. But Alex, overall, it was a good run from you, and especially a good week to win the sprint cars and get a podium position in the super lates. Before we let you go, any shout outs? Who would you like to thank?
Big thanks to VLR, the Drill Spill, Dirt Collective, Dirt Car Racing and Mar Inc., and Tanner Tallarico Singing Designs. And you guys for broadcasting. It's very appreciated. So see you guys next week, hopefully, or tonight, I should say, or tomorrow night.
Well, we love doing it, Alex. So thank you as well, and congratulations on the good week. Hope to see you run strong tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Well, Gary, that's pretty much going to bring us to the end of the opening round for the Super Lates. It was fantastic racing through the heats and the trophy dash. It's just, unfortunately, once we got to the B main and the A main, seemed like guys lost that little bit of patience they needed, and because of that, we spent a lot of time under yellow.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, but on the bright side, it could have been worse. We could have finished under yellow, but luckily we did not. And of course, it's going to be interesting, though, when they go to Eldora, but even more interesting when they go to Knoxville, as I haven't seen them race there. So that's going to be an interesting race for me.
Super Lates are definitely a lot of fun around the sprint car capital of the world at Knoxville, but then again, everything is fun around that place. But for us here at RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live, that is going to do it for the season opener for the CMF Motors Electrics American Dirt Series Super Late Model Series here from USA International Speedway. Shoutouts, as always, to the guys in the championship, both to Blake and Cody, putting the broadcast in our hands, and it's been a lot of fun thus far. And we will see you tomorrow night for Friday Night Dirt Night, as well as this weekend. We have the 12 Hours of Bathurst, as well as the Neo Endurance 6 Hours of Spa coming at you this weekend. A lot of broadcasting for RaceSpotTV over the next several days, as well as the finale of the Sim Racing Grand Prix, and of course back to this championship on Monday with the 360 sprint cars from Eldora. But until then, hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye.